Right. Hmm. Hopefully everything's fine. I don't know, for whatever reason, just morning internet is never in my favor. Yeah. Oh god. Weird, because it's a newly built area in somewhat of a rural town, so I think it'd be half decent, but no, just still Australian internet is fiber, but yeah, if you compare our fiber to the rest of the world, it's still not great overall. All right, so as per usual, we'll start with some cracking of packs, right? So I have another box of heavy hitters. I don't know why I keep going at this point, right? I was missing the majority of Majestics from heavy hitters overall. But then I traded for stuff. I got the majority of it. So the only thing I'm really missing is Balance of Justice. But at the same time, I think Balance of Justice is either around or slightly more than a box, right? So obviously the smart thing to do would be just buy Balance of Justice. But alas, here we are. So yeah, let's hope there's a Balance of Justice in here. Because I think too, it's the last legendary generic that I'm missing as well. And then it's just like Runeblade and Illusionist stuff. But that's more just for the sake of collecting, right? Rather than playing. So I don't think I'll really ever touch them. Maybe with Monarch 3, depending on what Runeblade gets. I don't know. Not big on board states, which is weird because MTG wise, I just loved like big black rat decks, which is obviously building a very, very immense board state. Anyway, see what we can find in some heavy hitters. So, I know Marvel would be nice too, I suppose, right? I guess Victor going into Mastery Pack Guardian would be quite nice, considering he seems to be getting a lot of glorious support as opposed to Betsy. Plus, there's probably some staples in here that I should probably pull out at some point for Mastery Pack Guardian. So I think, yeah, I'm on board for the Guardian. We can play Valda till Super Slam, and then we can, meme around with Pleiades and Standing Ovation. I'd probably rock as well. Alright, talk a big game. It's also kind of a fun flavorful card. Maybe one day it'll be decent. I mean, it's still a blue block, right? So choose a number the next time you deal that much damage to a hero. You get to create that many might tokens. Oh, and a foil starting stake. Not the starting stake great. It's still a 3 block as well. But yeah, I mean, talk a big game with Rock would be kind of cool, right? Because you can play it beforehand. Declare, I don't know, 3, 4, whatever is the correct amount of value you have to get out of it to make it decent. Few secrets. I think that's too bad. I mean, much better than last time. I think we didn't hit any Majestics till near the very end. What else can we find? Nada. Bubble. No. Oh god. I have to track down a Tales of Aria Unlimited bubble. That's the only bubble I'm missing currently. Ooh. That's a shame. Because this was one of the cards I traded for. But I guess Blade Fury in Rainbow Foil is definitely nice. Yeah, it's really just Balance Justice. That's the sole reason I'm cracking this at this point. Well, I suppose Deathmatch Arena would be okay. Never too sad hitting a Fable, right? Still, 2 Majestics, 1 foil down, so we're kind of near the endish. So no expansion slot yet. I don't even remember what was a great target in the expansion slot for heavy hitters. Oh, cool. Opened at the right spot there. Cool. Was either that might be the cold foil. No, it's in the last slot. It was a Centauri Saber. Ah. Are there any other decent cold foils? Oh, the Guardian gloves, I suppose. Don't know if I have them. I guess in that sense, just a legendary would be nice. Alright, halfway. And literally just the 3 Majestics on that side of the box. Alright. Nada, nada, nada. Expansion. I do really hope the pull rates for Master Pack Guardian are nice and easy. Coerced Tendency as a foil. One day, perhaps, right? I mean, it's very clear that people want Contract to be retooled in some sense. Have been mulling over the best way to do so. There was one on the Reddit about Contract being, like items. So I would assume they mean not an item you play, but when you play a card with Contract, you create a contract. And then that sticks around until you've accomplished it X amount of times or something like that. Sophia, Victor, no Adult Hero either. Actually, something that might be a little bit annoying. The Valda in Master Pack Guardian is a Majestic, which could be annoying to find, right? Last Marvelous Jarl. Are you is that a quandary, or has it been revealed if someone cracked one? I mean, it does make sense. Someone else pointed that out. Or was it you, Skippy? I don't know. But yeah, Marvel would make sense. Plus, it's a good juxtaposition to the young Bravo, right? But yeah, that would definitely be the top hit, I'd assume. Because Jarl's still probably the most playable, just because the Earth package is so good, no? Alright, Nada. I've got to hit at least a cold foil. It's a shame about Betsy and the lack of wager. Oh, there we go. Stand ground. Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. Very curious why they wanted to hide it then. I was hoping something a bit more fanciful. But yeah, Marvel Yarn is definitely insane. Even Magneto. At the same time, it's nice that it's on, promo. But it definitely does seem like they had a clear inkling to what they needed to do to put in this set to make sure it wasn't, Bright Lights 2.0, where you're either all for Guardian or you just don't give a damn. Well, fortunately, no Balance of Justice. But I suppose the Foil Blade Flurry is decent enough from that pack. I suppose someone's found it and posted it on the Fab Reddit, right? We can take a look at the Or not yet. Potentially. Where'd you say it, Skippy? Just in Discord, probably. It'll be up at some point. Yes, Nope is okay as well, isn't it? Quest isn't. You want Quest to be okay. 2-ish okay hits. Yep. Good little warm-up. We're getting good at cracking. 10 minutes-ish for a box. Alright. Mastery Pack Guardian. There we go. Wow. TCG tends to score. Fair enough. Should probably at some point do that. Join like Purples and all the different content creators because it's just a wealth of information. But I do want to start with the Collector's Week because it is now the 2nd of August and the 1st of August by US time. Although Malice is working off New Zealand, generally stick to Australian time. So yeah, all the posts are out and nothing on print runs. It's a shame. It's sad, right? I mean, what was the teasers this? The other surprises if you're on your best behavior. I'm pretty sure this is more just the giveaways, though. Social media, no, that's the giveaways. They're the showcases. I haven't actually looked at the deck text with a bit of bling. I assume there'd be a write-up at some point. But yeah, the lack of information for this Collector's Week is a bit bumming, right? If we compare it to, like, last Collectors. So this is never in order. I still boggles my mind how this is organized, right? But I think content-wise, the interviews as well, I think were better last year as well, because it was just a stock standard set of questions for all the interviews, right? It's always the same set, yeah. Which makes it nice and easy to be streamlined, but, we had My First Fable, Get 10 tips to get into collecting. We get the print runs as well. Yeah. Oh well. Maybe they'll come out at some point. But set-wise, I mean, we can go off 2024, can't we? So we're missing Bright Lights, Heavy Hitters, and Mist Veil. And whether or not Rosetta would be tacked onto that, but yeah. It does, yeah. That's actually good to say. Which, sort of makes sense. We had the stuff on Super Slam. Already forgot. Pro Tour Singapore, there we go. Right, then the conventions. Then Mastery Pack Guardian-ish, right? Even the spoilers for Mastery Pack Guardian feels kind of weird. Like, they could have built it up more. God, how were they spoiled? I feel like they all just came out here and there. Like, aside from Armadas, right? I don't think I clued into who did what at all, right? So, yeah, bit of a shame. But there is a lot going on this tail half of the year. I suppose the fact that Mastery Pack Guardian was pushed up has probably thrown a wrench into most things. But, yeah, definitely a shame that we didn't get any more information about the Mastery Pack Guardian. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, you've played a lot more Guardian than I have. What are your thoughts, right? Me just looking at all the cards, they're the type of cards I like that make me go, well, I'll finally give Guardian a crack, because I don't mind fatigueless, but if my, end game is just swinging my weapon, then I'm kind of meh. I want a fatigueless into something that's, cool, right? And standing ovation. I kind of like it, but not a huge excitement. Yeah, fair enough. There's definitely, nuts and bolts there to help. I don't think, for instance, Valda, comes meta breaking or anything like that, right? I think Victor probably profits the most out of the set. But yeah, it's a nice little warm up. Again, I will only be kind of annoyed if they ask the pull rates, right? So for instance, they make it, I don't know, 1 in 6 for the Majestics, because there's a smaller batch, and yeah, that would just be awful. If I have to buy equivalent to a standard set, I'm already going to be bummed. If I have to buy less, then I'll be happy. If I have to buy substantially more, then yeah, you've lost me, right? But, the chasing elements are okay. Alright, card-wise. The reprints as well. I mean, this just grab everything from Welcome to Rathe and then Time Skippers. It's kind of weird. I play Earth Ice Yarn right now, so Mastery doesn't really help. Only a few tech cards. My daughter and I are going to devour Crack Shuffle Play and Smash Palace. Yeah, I think that's another weird thing. If they pushed it up, they should have just done Smash Palace at the same time anyway. And it would have been perfect. There's a few gripes, right, with this. For one, off of every card showcased here, it's clear that it didn't have to be Valda only, right? They could have done Bravo, either old or new Bravo as a young hero as well, and they could have stuck Victor in there probably, right? I suppose they would have needed more Clash reprint cards, right? But on the Crush side of things, they definitely could have done Bravo, Velda, right, and made it a bit more flavorful. But I think also just the mistiming. This comes out this week. Then Smash Palace comes out at the end of the month, is also kind of just weird, right? Like they could have been timed a bit better. I think it might just get washed away, essentially, right? If you're very interested in UPF and want to have that fun, it'll be there for you. But I think for a lot of people, Smash Palace will just, yeah, I can see that being the case as well, right? So you've bought your Mastery Pack Guardian, and then all of a sudden you're roped into, it's equivalent to another box, right? It's 12 packs. So it would have been nice if they were just a tandem thing. So yeah, so Jarl down here. So 2 adults, 2 youngs, 3 limited, 3 surges, ley line, and the shield. Also, it wasn't until I was doing the thumbnail I realized Grandeur is the center of Testament. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, let's crack onto the cards. I suppose we'll just go in order. They need more casual engagement. Which is also a weird thing, right? Because they're pushing Crack Shuffle Play as Skirmish, and I know people are sort of torn. It's cool that, in a sense, it takes net decking and buying just a top tier deck out of skirmishes. But at the same time, I know people don't really want Crackshot to play for Skirmish because it's still somewhat of a competitive, right? I forget what tier it is. I'm still waiting to hear how Gen Con is going. The lines look long. That felt awful. I've already seen a few posts where it's, someone with a stack of 10 of the con exclusive boxes, right, to sell. I think, God, where's my calculator? I did see Fluke and Box had some to sell at Auckland, which is nice, right? The fact that they're, getting away from America is definitely really good. But I am curious how much of a markup they are. Yeah, that's not good. I think it was 600, which makes it 400 US, which is still, I suppose, with shipping and everything. Because they're 275 at the conventions, and then online they're already going for like 350. And yeah, it sucks to see just what, was probably meant as some sort of celebration, right? Or incentive to, go to these different events is just probably going to be the most scalped product in Flesh and Blood. Not to mention the armory decks as well. The armory decks are awful, right? Considering $100 a piece, so $40 markup. But alas, maybe they'll get reprinted. Maybe they'll pop up every year or so. Who knows? Or maybe they just continue with that trend and they start doing other heroes as well with the Marvel equipment. That will definitely sort of be a bit of a sour taste. Alright, so Valda, High Riser as the one soul weapon. I'm curious if there was, again, a bit of variety. I think variety is probably the issue here, because it is just going to be who gets the best deck, right? Because there's certain Majestics and other cards that are definitely a lot better. I think in general it might just end up being whoever pulls a Majestic. I got a guy to get me the Viz stuff. I'm getting an Armory Viz for my battle box. Yeah, fair enough. I don't think I'll bother, right? Unless they substantially drop. Because there's nothing in there for me. I don't even think I care that much to, try and wrangle them. If they were more easily accessible, yeah, in Australia, but they're not, right? Yeah, shame. So, one weapon, decent choice of shield, but at the same time, they don't feel that great, right? So, I mean, Temper 2, significantly better than Ronald Buckler. Like, yeah, this is just weird. I mean, Steel Braid Buckler used to be a rare, and that probably would have kept it somewhat fairish, but no. Missing weapon variety, and it's just not comparable. I mean, same with equipment too. If you get the normal Guardian set versus Iron Rod, like what is the purpose of putting this in here rather than just having, higher chance at hitting either the Crabman suit or the normal Guardian set, right? Because at least they're a bit more comparable. Whereas, you crack shuffle play and you're decked out in your Iron Rod, and then someone rocks up with almost the complete set of Guardian stuff. That's already kind of a big disadvantage in a limited format, right? So yeah, balancing wise, I don't think it's really there. Variety wise, I don't think it's really there either. So it's a shame. I mean, I'm probably gonna end up doing the crack shuffle play thing, right? As in where if my first set is shit, I'm gonna rebuy, and it's just gonna be fish for a Majestic. Yeah. Oh well. Hell of Ice and Peak reprint. There's a lot of just. I mean, it's not a Guardian staple to be reprinted, right? And there's nothing in this set that screams to me this is a lot more usable either. Not gonna lie, I devoured every other fat product, but this doesn't excite me at all. Even Super Slammies are doing it for me. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too crazy about heavy hitters or Rosetta, right? Just because I don't play a bunch of those classes, like Wizard Runeblade, two classes I'd never really touch. But I don't know. I think in one sense, I'm sort of just going, I want to play Guardian. This is a good way into it, so I'm sort of invested. But yeah, it does feel could have been tuned up a little bit. I mean, there's so many slots here that could have, been wager, and then they just hit the trifecta. Super Slams, yeah, is growing on me as well. The thematics, like the trailer, didn't do it for me. Then started looking at the card art and everything. Definitely felt a lot more interested. Then obviously saw Big Rock and our superstar, right? And Standing Ovation. Standing Ovation sort of captivated me. Because otherwise it would just be, I'm miming around trying to get Rock to work, and then everything else I don't really care about. But at least now I have 2 objectives, right? Play Rock, and try and get Standing Ovation turns over and over again. Alright, so, yeah. Testament, start there. Fabri's probably better, because I can click on them and highlight them. Though, it depends if it loads quickly, because they're migrating, I believe. So this is... I don't know if this is going to be the new website, or this is a fill-in website, but either way, it's, yeah, slow at the moment. See if I can reload the artwork. I assume normal Fabry is still down. Was this morning at least. While they're migrating. Yeah. Oh, getting some of them. Want to be able to zoom in. Although they are definitely tweaking things, making better. But yeah, that'd probably be the one feature missing. Before I go, I just will use the Fab database. Well, I guess we're clicking on cards backspacing. Alright, so Testament of Valhalla comes as normal, all Marvel, no cold foil, which is nice, right? There's no 3 variants. We'll see how easy it is to find, but essentially works out to 5 block, right? But I do still feel that 6 is going to be too hard to use. You're not going to consistently get it in a match. Whereas, weirdly enough, I think Season Savior, finding Visit of Anvilheim, is easier, right? Than trying to get to 6 and hold this around. I mean, it's still nice in the fact that you can get that 3 block. So it's equivalent to a Temper Shield, which I suppose all has that flexibility to be a Soul 3 block, right? And then when you finally do crack it and get to 6 and have that big turn, you've got this as your defensive shield, right? But yeah, I feel like the 3 is good, 6 is a little too high. But maybe I'm wrong. We are getting decent ways to create Seismic Surge. Back, not misclick. Helm of Ice and Peak. It's good battle worn for limited as well, right? Maybe you'll use the intellect as you go for a setup turn. Richter Scale I do actually like, right? Destroy this, create 2 Seismic Surge tokens, so the fact that that sort of can complete Valda is definitely really, really nice. Definitely seems like something you want to find. Guardwell's cool, but you can probably finagle multiple uses out of it. Yeah, I am sort of underselling the extra value. It's just, in my mind, I've already made the decision that, Season Savior is significantly better when using Visit from Anvilheim. But you can definitely, take the counter off and reuse it over and over. I mean, there's also the ability, depending on what you're blocking into, you could destroy your Seismic Surges, right? So if it has an on hit to destroy something, or you have a way to get rid of them, right? Then you can always do that before the chain breaks. I mean, the awful play would be to block with it and then somehow get to the Seismic Surges, right? You stupidly forget that it's on the chain, and then you use like the new Eruption card, you get 3, and you've blocked for 1, but now it's Guardwell for 3. I do like the mill. That's sort of what wrote me in. I feel like Valda having all the both play draw cards works well with mill. The other way to play here is just big on hits. Yeah. I like that they've lead into both milling and the draw discard, right? It's, to me, just the Guardian way of Assassin, and it's actually worked out really well, right? It actually feels as it should be. It's not like Carbon Clone of doing the same thing, which is really cool from a design perspective that they've managed to, accomplish that well, right? Richter Scale, so destroy, create 2 Seismic Surge, but you can still block with it. Really good. Gauntlets of Boulder Hole. Okay-ish, right? So Creative Fist has essentially 1 block over it, unless you double block with it. And then Gauntlets of Goliath just have the easier use case, but, it's still nice for limited. Greater Hoof is definitely interesting to me. These also all come in Coldwell, minus the Helm of Ice and Speak, right? But Greater Hoof, pay 3, destroy this. Next Guardian attack action card you play is from Arsenal, gets Dominate, go again. So that is definitely, I think, usable, right? Overall. I mean, it's still somewhat defensive legs. Maybe you still want the full defensiveness, but yeah. I like the fact that we're getting the variety, because we need those other effects, right, for your legs. It can't just be either go again or defensive. I get a weird mixed signal. Some Guardian players are really in love with the stuff they've added. Others are just upset. I think the problem is it's one-dimensional, right? So Guardian has a lot of variety to it versus some other classes where, for instance, Assassin, again, whatever stealth assassin cards they print is great for almost everyone, right? Whereas this is the Clash for Victor, there's nothing for Betsy. I know Betsy's a weird, like, meme underdog that a lot of Guardian players love, right? Then you've got Valda leading into mill and draw rather than just trying to rack up Seismic Surge and having just big attacks, right? And basically playing around the fact that her ability is cheaper than Bravo, right? So yeah, I can understand that it's a mixed bag. There was Crater Hoof in the game. Can't get away from it. Oh, right. Yeah. Crater Hoof Behemoth? Green? Big code looking thing? MTG? Not even close. Hoarding of Denial. I would assume it's another pun, right? Being hold the door. Or door, right? Maybe I'm stretching it, but I do actually like the shield as well. So this gets plus X while defending, where X is the number of cards that cost 3 or more defending this combat chain, right? So not the chain link, combat chain. So that's really good. Again, going into wide, it seems like a really interesting shield, especially if we're leaning into we want to take more attacks and just block with the attacks and get value through some other cards. So the fact that this could potentially be a 3-block shield, right? And then maybe a 4-block shield if you're giving your whole hand is definitely interesting. I mean, well, no, because if you're playing if you're playing a defense reaction from Arsenal and paying for it, you're still losing a card from hand. But yeah, it combos well with just being able to block with a big attacks, right? So it is a nice shield. If it, God, Guardwell maybe? If it had Guardwell, be insane to me. Yeah, that'd be fair, because you'd still be able to block with 1, then block with maybe 3 cards, so 1, 2, then equates to temper. I'm just trying to stretch it to get 1 extra value out of it, right, to make it a bit more feasible. But I think there might be some sense of use, right, going into wide. This is the feels bad card, right? If you crack shuffle play, this is your shield, and you match up with anyone who has anything else, you feel bad, right? Yeah. I mean, there's no rationale whatsoever to have this in Steel Braid Buckler, both at common as well, right? At least in the initial set, it was a rare. This was Tails as well, wasn't it? Anyway, 1 block versus 3 block from Steel Braid Buckler. Tremor of Resistance, also kind of lesser Steel Braid Buckler, right? At least there's, different decision options against these two. But yeah, Tremor Resistance, Control Seismic Surge just gets +2, so it's just a 2-block shield. Leyline of the old one, so this only comes in Rainbow Foil and our Marvel. And then the boots as well. Yeah, so everything's still 2. But this being Marvel, I wonder if that makes the other legendaries easier to find. I'm boggling my head around the Paul Red's Mastery Pack Guardian. There's, stuff going on. Is it comparable to other sets? I'm trying to think what else. I mean, High Seas is what comes to mind, but then everything was moved to the treasure packs anyway. But I do like Leyline. It might not be super value on board, right? But it's the this has to stick around for 2 turns where I get the this has to stick around for 2 turns where I get the 1 off of its entry, the 1 off of me dealing damage that turn, and the next turn of me dealing damage to make it better value. Right? It's the board presence to me, and that decision point that it creates for your opponent that makes it good. In my mind. But again, most matchups, you're probably going to be able to keep this around, right? So yeah. Break Stature. Weirdly comparable to the rare variant, right? Because of the crush effect. So when it deals 4 more damage to a hero, destroy an aura token they control, then they can't create auras with that token's name until the end of the next turn. So this has to destroy something for them to not be able to create anything. Whereas the rare is they just can't create any, right? So has its use case. It's a nice attack. It's yellow, right? But potentially, I like Renounced Grandeur, wherever it is, a little bit more. Clash of Bravado. When it's defense, clash with the attacking hero. The winner destroys an aura the other hero's control. So that's a big theme of this set as well, it seems. Right? Attacks that block. Is it? Is my internet going to shit again? Doesn't... Oh, weirdly. I had a bunch of drop frames at the start, but nothing yet. I might be a little far away from my mic. I'm leaning back. Yeah. Let me do that. Alright. So yeah, Clash of Bravado, or see, part of me just wants to go all back and forth between different cards because there's a few. But yeah, when this depends, Clash with the attacking hero, where the winner destroys an aura the other hero's control. So again, use case, but it's more just a trigger, right? God, I feel what Victor's doing now. Is this working at all? Can I type in Victor, or do I have to get off my other page? Oh, beautiful. We'll stick with this anyway. But yeah, so, again, deck tech, big attack. Something you can keep in your deck. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the sideboard. Then we have headbutts. So I like these attacks that, again, have some sort of weird block prevention, right? So this can't be defended by non-head equipment. So as to say, this can only be defended by head equipment from equipment. But obviously, if they said that, then it can be defended by other cards. So the fact that this, turns off of everything else but the head is very interesting because the head is often utility or your block piece that you sort of get rid of a little bit more quicker than some of the other pieces, right? Because it has, good effects like Crown of Providence. But yeah, so it can't be defended by non-head equipment, and then if you have a head equipped and the defending hero does not, this gets +1. Plus crush when it deals 4 or more damage, put a negative counter on head they have equipped. Then if it has 0, destroy it. So there are, a bunch of, 2 block cards. Fortunately, so you'd have to land 2 headbutts in order to shatter, for instance, Mask of Momentum. But again, it's still nice to me because it's, it's a nice blue attack with a little bit of block prevention, right? That you can, try to work in to do something a bit devastating. It also sets up counters for other things, right? So even if you don't get the destruction effect, still putting a counter on that piece of equipment could be good. Peck Perfect. Whenever a card defends this clash with the defending hero, the winner destroys the top card of the other hero's deck. So every time this is defended, so they throw out equipment, triggered. Throw out a block, triggered. Throw out a normal action card, triggered. Defense reaction, triggered. So yeah, potentially this could be very, very milling, right? Probably 2 to 3 cards if you're obviously winning. But yeah, pretty cool. I'm a big fan of mill. Put him in the place. Valda spec comes as a nice EA, although that's a little bit harder to read. Crush, when this deals 4 or more damage to a hero, they discard their hand and then draw that many cards. So the idea being there, you dominate it, you make them discard 3, they draw 3 black, and then all of a sudden you're set up as Valda for your next turn, right? Because you get the 3 Seismic Surges from them redrawing their hand. Plus, it can, potentially mess up their next turn because, the rationale being they throw out X card to block with, they've kept X other cards in their hands for their turn. So, maybe a little bit of disruption, but mainly there just for the back-to-back Valda big turns, right? Solid Grounds, nice defense reaction. This costs 1 less to play for each Seismic Surge control. Comes in microtext EA. Oh, I'm given the fact that it's codes now, right? I think I'm fine to just say they're all the extended arts, right? It either comes as transparent or microtext, right? Costs 1 less for each Seismic Surge you control. So trying to rationalize the value. What does it have to be? As a 5 block in red, that means it'd be a 7 block, so unmovable 2 cost. So as long as you get a discount by 1, it's fair value. Anything more than that, and it's better value, right? But again, we're getting a lot of incentive to get to 3, especially as Valda. So this being a free 5 block, right? Definitely nice. Especially in blue, right? Leave a dent. My fun card for the set. Next Guardian attack this turn gets crushed when it deals 4 or more damage to a hero. Destroy the top 4 cards of their deck. What I really want to work out is a way to play 2 of them and then both at 2 people, right? Just mill them both. But yeah, the main interaction here, again, going back to Valda, is the fact that you can give an attack crush. And if you give an attack crush, then you can trigger some of those other effects. I haven't actually read Bravos in a long while, either new or old. So I'm curious if they interact with the crush, right? Turn face down card in your arsenal if it has crush, so no. So Flattering Showman doesn't work. Till the end of turn, you attack action cards with 3 or greater, and then normal Bravo system, normal Dominate. So it doesn't work with new Bravo, unfortunately. But it does work with Valda, right? Assume. Start your turn, if you control 3 or more Seismic Surge tokens, cards you own with Crush get Dominate. Yeah, so as long as you own the card, which is still, when you play it, when it lands on the chain, it gets the Crush, then it gets the Valda trigger. At least I have to assume that's the intended interaction with it being in the set. Visit Anvilheim. remove X negative counters from Guardian offhand you have equipped. So if this was all equipment, it'd be pretty nuts, but it's still good. You probably want to take either Testament or Seasoned Savior to make it worthwhile. Probably Seasoned Savior more so, just because the full value is there. But you can still definitely use it with Testament. It's just the Guardwell, so generally speaking, right, you're probably removing maximum tokens. So you're paying 3 into this, so 2 cards remove 3 counters. With Seasoned Savior, it leads to that extra 3 value. Oh, was it more than 3 value? Kind of Battle Worn, so it would be 3, 2, 1. So it's an extra 6 value, right? And then Testament, fortunately, because of Guardwell, if you end up still blocking with 3, there's no value there. But if you do, for instance, the 1 block, a little bit better. When you clash more than once, do they just use the same? Yeah. So unless it says, put to the bottom or destroy the card, it stays on top, right? So, for instance, as Guardian, the idea is to obviously keep a big attack on top, and then you're just going to win over and over again. I think Victor's ability, though, does give him a second chance. At least I know this isn't my intent, this is Fabri's Migration. So the idea behind the mill ones, though, I guess, is also it's somewhat of a second chance for you. Victor got my first time. You'd fail to win a clash. Instead, if you destroy goal, you may put one of the revealed cards on the bottom of its owner's deck. So you can either shuffle yours to the bottom or shuffle your opponent's and then clash again, right? So that's your saving grace. But for everyone else, it'll stay at the top. So if you win, your card stays. Theirs goes, depending on the effect, right? Daily Grind. Speaking of clash. Attack action cards you control get when this defends clash with the attacking hero. The winner destroys the top card of the other hero's deck. So in this case, again, you block with an attack action, right? You both reveal the top card of your deck. If you win, their card's destroyed, and then for the next clash, it's still your same card, but their new card, right? And then vice versa. So yeah, we're getting a whole bunch of incentive just to block with attacks or just to take attacks in general for fatiguing rather than a whole bunch of defense reactions. Plus we have, was it Fiddler's Green? That's a nice big attack that with upside on block. So yeah, lots of good ways to get value out of just running attacks overall, especially with Seismic Shelter. Go again, attack action cards you control get plus X while defending, where X is the number of Seismic Surge tokens you control. So that is pretty crazy because it's just so good for breakpoints, right? 1 Seismic Surge already makes your attacks 4 blocks. 2, 5 blocks. 3, 6 blocks. Like, you can get an immense amount out of this, right? So, the fact that you can have this stick around, you draw, say you land into Seismic Eruption, this is suddenly 3 less resources on your turn for an attack, and then 3 extra block for all your attack actions. So, yeah, definitely a lot of incentive just to fill your deck up with attack actions. Test Divine Grip. When this defends, clash with the attacking hero. If there is a winner, the other hero discards a card, right? So, for a block that has a lot of value to it, it's comparable to Return Fire and what we thought Return Fire would be. And then, when we started playing with Return Fire, it didn't work out as well as it could have, right? It's still good as a 4-block, right? The fact that it's a 4-block is still really nice. But this being a 4-block that, well, as Guardian, as in the right deck, will most likely lead to your opponent discarding a card, is, yeah, really, really solid, right? 2 cards of value from it. Comes in nice extended art, microtext. The limited stuff. I guess it is fun and flavorful. So, all the old one cards are crush effects, but you have to specifically hit a Guardian hero. They also have Heave, so they are really cool cards. Yeah, it's such a shame that it's Guardian only. Again, they probably need to be toned down slightly, but when this deals 4 or more damage to a Guardian hero, cards they own lose all abilities during their next turn, so that's every card, right? Equipment, hand, and person. Yeah, it literally says it. Treats the cards as if the text box is empty. Oh, yes. I'm not in any of those Discords, so I'm refreshing to see when it pops up on the Reddit. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's cool enough, right? A lot of people will definitely want the Marvel from Mastery Pack Guardian, so it's just another sort of incentive to crack it and find the rare stuff. Disenchantment, destroy all auras. Again, a bit more situational, but still good. And then Smelting, destroy all equipment with negative counters on it. Could be really, really nice. So, yeah, it's a shame. They're all limited, facet, especially because the artwork's so cool on the marbles. Oh well. The annexations of Things Unknown, Grandeur, and the Forge, right? So Anvilheim, are these different places? I assume they're different places. But all these crush effects, same sort of situation. You have to deal it directly to a Guardian Hero. We have until the end of the next turn. They can't play face-up cards from Arsenal, and you may play face-up cards from their Arsenal. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Till the end of your next turn. So it's stuck in their Arsenal, essentially. And then on your next turn, you can play their card rather than yours, giving you a little bit more incentive to block. I feel like the no-go again is well enough just to be any hero. No, Guardian is meta right now. Yeah. They are still situational. This is probably the only one that's, just great in all circumstances. But fortunately, all this fun, flavorful stuff is Guardian only. Grandeur deals 4 or more, gain a control of an aura they control. Like this one would have been perfect, right? Yoink a specific aura. Imagine yoinking a, trying to think what would have the most relevancy against Prism. I don't know, the Genesis, for instance, right? Then Annexation of the Forge. When it deals 4 or more damage to a Guardian Hero, equip an equipment they have equipped. So you must have an empty zone to get to yoink their equipment. When this deals, so the chain still exists. So how would that work? Would you yoink the piece they've blocked with and prevent its destruction effect if it has, for instance, Blade Break or Temper? Either way, they are fun, flavorful, but you will probably never see them again. I mean, these 3 probably just really for Smash Palace fun, but yeah, it is a shame that they're not transferable. They're not insane to the point where they shouldn't be, but oh well. Fault Line, if you have a card in Arsenal, this gets +1. Then when this deals 4 or more damage to a hero, put all cards in all Arsenals on the bottom of their owner's deck. So you have to start with a card in Arsenal when you play this for this to be a 3 for 8, right? Which is then above value, right? But it's still a decent enough crush effect to put their cards to the bottom, right? If they don't have a defense reaction. So yeah, it still has its use case. It's just another Arsenal disruption, which usually just gets taken in general because it's Arsenal disruption. Best play, I guess, would be this and a pummel in Arsenal, and then you pummel it. Hostile Encroachments, so again, sort of a bit more Valda-centric. When it stacks a hero, they discard a card. Crush, when this deals 4 or more damage to a hero, they discard a card. So as Valda, getting the Seismic Surge off of it seems nice, right? As everyone else, just giving your opponent an extra card to block with is probably not the greatest thing in the world, right? Especially if you don't have Dominate or a way for them to not utilize that card. Renounce Grandeur. Now, I do like this ramp. If the defending hero controls an aura token, this gets +1, right? And then becomes a 3 for 8. Then Crush, when this deals 4 or more damage to a hero, they can't create aura tokens during their next turn. So the fact that it's just a switch off doesn't have to specifically destroy anything, right? To me, makes it comparable to the Break Stature. But yeah, it's just really good disruption. Aftershock comes in a set. So yellow, blue, red. And when stacks, if you control the Seismic Surge token this turn, create a Seismic Surge. So this also seems like a nice filler piece, right? 1 Seismic Surge makes this a 2-card attack, and then you get the Seismic Surge back, right? Because you've still controlled it, even though it pops at the starting turn, similar to Promising Terrain. If you control 3 or more Seismic Surge, right? So you've controlled them for that turn. Little Bigfoot's very, very weird of a card to me, because it goes against Seismic Surge, in a sense. Unless you're playing setup into it, I suppose. If there are 2 or more cards with cost 3 or more in your pitch zone, this gets +6. So potentially a 4 for 9, right? Maybe. Most of them are probably going to end up as limited filter. I can still see Aftershock being run through deck, because, it's easy enough to carry on that Seismic Surge, right? And then a 3 for 8 is decent. 4 for 9, eh. Mantra Grande. Flipped, reversed, right? New artwork, what I mean to say. Nice big Dominate. Draw a crowd. Ooh, skipped. Go again. When the Senses Arena, each hero draws a card. Beginning of your action phase, destroy this, and the next Guardian attack action card you play this turn gets +3 again. To me, just because you're getting the extra value as Valda, it seems a bit better. For everyone else, you're just giving them more cards to block with. So if you have Dominate, it's a bit better. but at the same time, you're making their turn slightly stronger, right? I mean, this round's on me. It's very situational. Used to be really good, right? Wasn't, I can't remember. I always just took it because, memes running through your deck, drawing one extra card, but yeah, I think the downside to this is a bit too substantial, right? Plus, it's a 2 cost. Maybe if it was more than a +3, like a +4, potentially. But essentially, you're cancelling out the value. Even playing Valda, I'm not letting them draw it. Yeah. At least with the other ones, there's the discard element tied to it. And it's weird too, because wasn't Draw a Crowd the higher promo than Promising Terrain? Or were they just, you get one or the other? But Promising Terrain, I do definitely like. If you create one or more Seismic Surge tokens, instead create that many +1. So it has no conditional requirement, so it hits everything, right? Hero ability, equipment, cards, whatever you're using to generate Seismic Surge, you get an extra one. So Promising Terrain just seems nuts. 0-cost aura as well, which is something I haven't actually been mentioning. There's a lot of 0-cost auras for Imposing Visage, right? So you've got Promising Terrain, not Tectonic Instability. Where's the other auras? This is where Fabric comes in handy, but in the images. So cost 0, you want auras, and we want Guardian. Yeah, so there is 5 in total now, and it's Promising Terrain, the Clash one. I think 4 of them are from the set, right? We'll give... Oh, no, they're not going to load. So, yeah. 4 new ones, all from Mastery Pack Guardian, that you can hit, right? Seems really nice. And then up on a pedestal, coming... I think it's the Pleiades Armory deck, but yeah. The fact that there's a good amount of cards to hit with Imposing Visage from this is really nice, right? Now, there's rationale to play it in other Guardians aside from Jarl. So Promising Terrain, definitely really good. And then has the at the beginning of your action phase, destroy this. If you control 3 or more Seismic Surge tokens, you get a card, right? And a life, right? So, super good. Tectonic Instability. Each hero puts a card from their arsenal on the bottom of their deck. If they do, they draw a card. Create Seismic Surge tokens equal to the number of cards drawn this way. So you can double down on that effect as Valda, right? So if your opponent draws, you get an extra card. But again, just Arsenal Disruption is just really nice, right? It has go again, so you can play this first. It can be your Surge generation for your turn. Because it seems like that's sort of the shtick, right? You're generating Seismic Surge, then you're attacking, generating, attacking, right? Maybe now and then you don't have to generate because you've done it in the previous turn. But yeah, the generation for Seismic Surge is obviously a lot better than it has been in the past. I mean, we can continue with the art list, but create Seismic. It's E before I, isn't it? Yeah. So the cards that existed beforehand. I think it was that awful 2-cost one, right? Give it a second. Them to load. But yeah, Tectonic Instability. There's some really nice rares in the set, which is really cool. Then we have a whole nother batch of, unfortunately, Guardian-only Clash cards. Yeah, and the Go Again. Oh, we getting them? So, no, they're not loading. Trying to load their images. There we go. Yeah, so Seismic Surge being 2 for 3. It's clear that they don't need the cost, right? Even Tectonic Rift being, 1 for 1, and then having the 2 block. They tried these, failed, so now we're getting the good stuff. Clash of Heads, Chest, Arms, and Legs and Shields. So all of them have the same effect, which is when it defends a Guardian attack clash with the attacking hero, if there is a winner, the other puts a negative counter on X equipment they control, matching the title, right? So head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And then if they don't, they lose a life. So if they don't have the slot and they can't put a token, it just does 1 life, right? So they are really cool blocks that, especially in the case of the shield. If this wasn't just tied to Guardian, it'd be such a cool block, right? I mean, I suppose it being 4 block is the issue there. But yeah, imagine if it was just clash with them. They don't have an offhand, so now they lose a life. But they are Guardian only. Reprints, so Buckling Bro, Blow, not Bro. Cartilage Crush, Choke Slam, Crush Confidence, Crush the Weak, Debilitate, basically all the stock standard crush effects. Clash the Mountains, Guardian only again. So yeah, there is still a bunch of limited chaff, unfortunately. But maybe, again, if this sparks Guardian to be somewhat good, or at least a lot more represented. Maybe some of these deserve sideboard slots. With this defense Guardian attack clash with the attacking hero, the winner creates a Seismic Surge token. So the shame with some of these effects too is Guardian is the sort of the hero you don't want to be doing any of this stuff with, right? Because they have one of the highest chances to actually win the clashes. So you don't have that advantage you normally would, right? So while fun and flavorful, I don't necessarily think you want any of them really in your deck for crack shuffle play, right? Reprint, fly in the field. When it deals 4 or more damage to a hero, destroy Seismic Surge token. This one's kind of insulting, right? They completely understand it is mainly Guardian only. There are ways to get Seismic Surge as other people, but it is mainly Guardian only. But they knew the Seismic Surge token, so they didn't have to do that. When this deals 4 or more damage to a Guardian hero, right? But yeah, fly in the field, destroy one of their counters. So it's an okay crush effect. This for limited's a little bit better, right? Because disrupting Surge definitely seems like a big factor. Grind them down, another mill card. When it deals 4 or more damage to a hero, destroy the top card of their deck. So yeah, I think just a nice filler attack. Crush Confidence. So it stops the interaction, right? They lose all hero card abilities until the end of the turn. No, I'm misreading that. I was thinking all cards. I was thinking types. So Crush Confidence, I suppose we should, for the sense of limited, go through them. Buckling Blow, negative counter on equipment, right? Which could have some relevancy. I think in limited, though, you're just going to throw out your block pretty willy-nilly. Cartilage Crush, first action costs 1 extra, right? So that's actually kind of nice. Choke Slam, they can't gain any power, so they can't buff any of their cards. Then Crush Confidence, they lose their hero ability, so switches off Valda, which is definitely nice. Crush the Weak, they can't play attack action cards with 3 or less base power. This is a stupid inclusion. This is a really stupid inclusion. There is nothing in this that has 3 or less, right? This is 3. Is it 3 or less, or is it just shutting off Little Bigfoot? Way to go. They can't play attack actions with 3 or less. Okay, yeah. So it shuts off 1 card. Not completely stupid, but yeah, that interesting. Debilitates. When it deals 4 or more damage, the first attack loses 2 power, right? So that definitely helps with crush effects. And Disable. When this deals 4 or more damage, put a card from the arsenal on the bottom of the deck. So, yeah. Decent enough inclusions, but still filler. Rubble Razor. So Heave 2. Right, so Heave. While this is in your hand, at the beginning of your end phase, you may pay 2 to put this face up into your arsenal. So if you have floating resources or extra cards in hand, you can make use of Heave, and you can essentially push those resources to your next turn, right? And the fact that it's discounting the card you're arsenaling is pretty much the crux, right? So essentially, you're paying half the cost of, for instance, Rubble Razor for your next turn. But then we get a card like Overswing, which is a little bit more intriguing. So Heave 2, you get the Seismic Surge, so you still get the discount for something else. It's now gunking up your arsenal, right? So in that sense, draw-wise is a little bit awkward. And then you still have to pay 2 for Overswing, and then you're just getting the +3. It's a sad card, I've got to look at it. If I could spell bolder. When it deals 4 or more damage to a hero, they put a card from their hand on top of the deck. This is also only in the TCG, right? Yeah. That would have been a good reprint for the sake of just reprinting. This plus mill would have been cool. Or a version of this that lets you pick. Oh well. So yeah, that would have been a solid reprint to feature in it. Because again, there's a lot of cards in those miscellaneous products that need to resurface at some point. So yeah, Overswing. It's okay. I feel more so than anything, you just want to get this out of your arsenal, which ties in with the new equipment kind of well. But 2 for 3, right? And you're just getting the resources even. You're not profiting in that sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. We did skip Thrump and Thunderquake. So Thrump, if this card's power is greater than its base, gains Dominates. Again, with Valda's focus, so you don't necessarily need this to proc. Thunderquake Heave 3, it's just a nice, good staple. Again, the fact that you're paying that card cost up front, right? Although, with all the setup now being, more go against centered, you don't really need to, do something like this, right? You're better off just keeping up the aggression. Seismic Stir, 2 costs, create 3 Seismic Surge tokens, so technically you retain 1 resource, but you're losing a whole card, so it's actually not good. Cool. So this must be my internet. There we go. So yeah, Tazgo again at least is a 3 block, but the card cost is the issue. You can use it from hand. You don't have to use the effect, although it's not attack reaction, so it's significantly worse pummel, right? You have to play it and then attack. And it's attack action cards too, so you can't even use it in conjunction with your weapon. The main idea is to stockpile resources for your following turn. But yeah, I mean, in Valda, I guess it does get you 2 of those Seismic Surges going into your next turn, so it is a little bit better. But I don't know, I feel like it should have been a 1 cost with the Heave 2 or something like that. Not a 2 cost. Because Heave is just even. The only benefit you gain from it is, again, front-loading resources, but that means you've essentially taken a negative on your current turn to do so. So, yeah, feels like this could have been slightly cheaper. Embolden. When this enters the arena, if you have another non-token aura, draw a card. And then at the beginning of your action phase, destroy this. Next Guardian attack action card you play this turn, it gets +5. So again, this is sort of that sense of setup, maybe heave, and then have that second turn where your attack's going to be discounted and buffed. So you're a bit more likely to, give your hand to block, right? I think it's still a bit too costly. I don't think there's enough non-token auras for you to really benefit from the draw, which is what you really want. Because you'd have to play some of these more expensive stuff. Merging Power. Beginning of your action phase, next Guardian attack, action card you play turn gets +3. So again, it's just that idea of front-loading resources and getting that buff. It's not good. It's similar to Overswing. Geyser of Seismic Stirrings. I like the artwork for this. I kind of wish this was one of the EAs. Okay, 2 costs, go again, enters with 3 energy counters, 2 for yellow, 1 for blue. When this has none, destroyed, and then at the beginning of your end phase, you get to remove an energy counter from this and create a Seismic Surge. So essentially, you've got that consistent Seismic Surge generation over the course of X amount of turns. Red is positive value, yellow is even value, and blue is negative value, right? So it kind of feels like it could have been 4-3-2. And then at least there's a bit more rationale to the blue. But yeah, you're paying 2 to set up 1 Seismic Surge versus this, where at least you're getting the slight benefit. Stonewall Confidence. Cards you control with 3 or greater, 3 or more. Yeah, let's try that again. Cards you control with cost 3 or more. Get +4 while defending. So again, more incentive to have those big blocking attacks. Crush and Bash. When this defends, you may reveal a card with Crush from your hand. If you do, create a Seismic Surge token. So I still like this in red because it's, again, a 4 block, right? So, yeah. And potentially lead to 1 resource value, which, essentially means you're getting its pitch value from blocking, which is kind of cool. Then the generics. I mean, I don't quite get the purpose. This, at least, the -2 is really good. Again, 3+2. Time skippers, I suppose, for the go again, but I don't really think you're stringing together a bunch of attacks. The Iron Rot should not be here at all, right? You should be leaning on either the Crabman suit or the Guardian stuff. But the Crabman suit is definitely very interesting. They all have the same effects, right? So when this defends, put a face-up card from your arsenal on the bottom of your deck. If you do, you get to draw a card, and this gets +1 until the end of turn. So Crown of Providence light, essentially. But you have to have a card face up. So main use cases, Heave, Guardian, you get to put a card face up in your arsenal, or Ranger, right, loading face up. So aside from them, no other class really comes to mind, right? There's probably some flip effects that I'm missing, but yeah, it's still pretty cool pieces. It's a nice looking set. It has a nice utility effect, so it can definitely end up being a set of generic equipment that has some sort of use, right, going forward. Other than that, reprints. So base of the mountain, and then the really good stuff. So base of the mountain, your dominate protection boots, right? When it depends, banish any number of action cards from your hand and add them to the chain link as defending cards. This card's block is equal to the number of action cards defending the active chain link. So I think that's also something that I kind of wish was different, right? To give it just that little bit of extra oomph. But yeah, so banish any number of action cards from your hand. So again, main use case, playing around dominance, dominate. Doesn't work with confidence, doesn't work with overpower, unfortunately, right? And then, again, if you block with 3 cards, this has 3 block value. So most likely you want to be blocking with at least 2 cards through base of the mountain. 3 cards gets you that little bit of extra value over other leg pieces. 4, you're giving your whole hand. So although you're avoiding damage, you're essentially just giving your opponent a second swing at you where you no longer have the boots. So yeah, a little bit of extra value in them, I think, would have been kind of fair, right? Again, the main change would have probably been, for me, this card's block is equal to the number of just cards, right? So you have the ability to use it with extra equipment, get a little bit of extra block, ability to use it with defense reactions, right? And then you also have the dominate protection. Maybe just any cards would have been bad. Maybe it should just be, what would it have to be? Action or defending or defense reactions. Action cards or reaction cards, right? And then you cut out equipment. But I think I still would think it would be kind of fair in block in tandem with equipment, because again, the incentive there is just you're blocking big stuff where you're giving multiple pieces. But yeah, the main use case to me is just the bad side, right? Because giving your whole hand to get maximum value out of this is just a reset to your opponent's turn. All right, the 3 generics. So essentially there are attacks, but you don't necessarily want to be playing them for their attacks. You want to be utilizing them for their effects, because their effects are pretty crazy. Call for backup. When this defends, choose 2 attack action cards with different names in your graveyard. Opponent chooses one of them, banish that card, and put the other on top of your deck, right? So, yeah, it is Memorial Ground, the new headpiece coming with Super Slam, but on a block, right? So even though it's 2 block, it is a substantial effect for you to then line up your next turn, right? So, yeah, pretty nuts. Well, not your next turn, your turn after that, but still, yeah, pretty nuts, unless you have draw, right? And, you know, someone like Victor could utilize this. I mean, it's a generic. It goes into so many decks, and there are so many ways to get great value out of this. Opponent chooses one of them. Yeah, so your opponent can somewhat prepare, but it's still, you're going to pick 2 ridiculous cards. They're going to have to take one of them, right? Captain of the Guard. While this is defending, cards with power greater than the attack they are defending get +1. So this includes itself, right? So, for instance, if this blocks a 4 or less, it's a 3 block. And then every other attack action that you use as well, even better. And this is where my brain doesn't know enough, but because of the wording, right, this is the whole chain link. This is the whole chain, right, not just the chain link. So if you block with this first, following chain links, as long as you still meet the requirement, because it was still defending, right, on the closed chain link. I may be wrong about that, but yeah, either way, more incentive to, again, block with attacks. And then Fearless Confrontation. Instant discard this target attack gets -1, and losers and can't gain Dominate. So a lot of incentive there to play around, well, the big dominating class, which is Guardian. Ranger's gone, Azalea's gone, is what I mean to say. But still, the -1 is definitely useful, because, you know, it affects breakpoints. It's something that you can use reactionary. So yeah, it is definitely nice. It's still a 3 block anyway, so there's no real downside to taking it in your deck, right? So Blue Pitch Ball that blocks for 3, and then you have a really good utility effect in the circumstances you need it. So Gravy obviously loves it, right? If your opponent's swinging exactly into an ally, you can use this to save your ally, which is, again, pretty nuts. Means your opponent has to play around that as well, which is, again, going back to how cards just impact the mental space, right? And get the value from that. Similar to, again, my presumption about the ley line of the old ones, right? It's the board presence, not just its effect, that matters. It's what your opponent has to now consider when attacking you, or defending you, right? Attacking in this case. So yeah, that is, well, almost. So the final Marvel is Jarl. Still not updated. I don't know why I'm scrolling down. You can literally see the card count here, so it's still 129. Don't think it's spoiled on Reddit just yet. No. But I'm sure it's floating around there somewhere, right? So it's, for reference, the Marvels are Valda, Shield. Then we have the Leyline. And we have our 3 old ones, or limited cards. So they're probably the bottom barrel Marvels you don't want to hit, I mean, they still look nice. Getting a set of them would be pretty cool, along with the Seismic Surges. Then the Seismic Surges, wherever they are. Ooh, not too far. Right, so they come in 3 different varieties. They essentially match the old ones. You have this beautiful one, and you have the other 2, which are a bit more plain, but they're still kind of cool, right? Crystal Desert, Lava, right? So they match. Where'd they go? Aria, Desert, Molten, right? I think that would be nice framed, where you just have the 3 and then the 3 underneath. I think that might be my objective, weirdly, right? I've never really had an interest in like the angels or the chi cards or the other marvels, the dragons. But weirdly, I like these. I like big monsters that, are not necessarily just dragons. And then we have Young Bravo and Jarl as our other marvel. And I think I counted correctly. 4 heroes, a shield, makes 5, 6 pieces, and Leyline. Yeah, done. So they're the 12 marvels. And then everything else has been spoiled. So, I'm still just hoping that the print runs come out for Collector's Week, but it's clear that they're not, unfortunately. Such a shame. I think we might just then spend the rest of the time building Valda, because I think, again, come Master Pack Guardian, which is next week, I want to play Valda, which is good, because it's Blitz next week, so I can either take a me, Marlin deck, or Cheyenne. And then we can do Guardian. And the nice use case of Guardian is just got something graded, which I usually don't grade cards, but I do like the little PCG, slim things. But had some local peeps from the Armory goes the Nationals in Australia, so they were kind enough to get them graded in exchange for a whole bunch of gold tokens from IC. So, yeah, a nice little 9.5 tectonic. So I might as well find a use case for it, right? Curious about the other 2. China. Fortunately, a 9. Not unexpected. The Japanese boxes are not good. Weird, because, usually when you go card quality, you think Japan's great, but early stuff for Fab is awful. Even now, there's still cutting issues and other stuff, right, when it comes to Japanese boxes. And then Scab Skins, unfortunately, also a 9. But, still cool, still good. Still technically mint, right? Just nice gem mint. So, yeah. We gotta build Valda. And then Pleiades. Anyone else? Maybe I should take a crack at Victor, but meh. I think Valda. Valda, definitely. Hopefully this loads somewhat professionally. There she is. And hopefully the adult's not actually hard to find, right? God, it's gonna be so awful. It's like 1 every 3 boxes. Then, you've got either promo or shitty rate majestic hero, unfortunately. God. I don't know. Never really think of names. In that case, it should be either Milling Surge or Surging Mill. Yeah, we'll go with Surging Mill. But this is nice because we can actually look at interactions a little bit better. So currently the hero I've been playing most is Marlin. With, wow, before Death Dealer was banned, was better. Now it's just a nutty, no brain deck. But I play the field, so to speak. Round 1 attack Marlin. None of the cards are loading though. But I like just swapping. I like the adventure of deck building almost more so than generally playing, in all honesty. But I do enjoy playing. Looking forward to Super Slam Guardians. Yeah, they both seem cool in their own way, right? 5 cards versus standing ovation. So I'm pretty new to this game. I have no real collection at the moment. Any recommendations for Guardian pickups to get? Well, I mean, we can do this. Guardian is in a good spot if you're quick, right? Depending on how the next sets fall, it'll probably be a little bit bad. but some standout cards that are, reasonably priced for now. Ah, God. Can I do by class? Context, set code, artist. No. Yes, you can, thank God. Alright, we have more rationale just to use, but you can't do rarity. That's fine, there's not too many Guardian cards. Yeah, only 341. So, equipment-wise, Tectonic is definitely going to shine. You've got a card, Earthwall Bounty, which you can probably pick up as a easier version. Cheaper version, right? This Cold Foil Extended Art, yeah, and there is a normal version from Everfest. Yeah, we'll quickly scroll through all the Guardian stuff, and we'll try to think about what's rationally good for coming up. Battle to Pop, unfortunately, is only a promo, but that is a nice pickup for Guardian. Boulder Drop has a good effect. Fortunately, also in limited sources. Not a good start. But you have a lot of stuff coming, right? That definitely makes up for it. You have Buckle, which is a way to give a card dominate. If you're playing Valda, not as needed, but for everyone else, it is definitely good. Then we have, again, more cards coming. If you really want to play Guardian, Master Pack Guardian definitely seems like a good place to start. We do have a few crush cards, though, from other places that are, situational and potentially better. So, for instance, Cranial Crush, right, from Welcome to Rathe. You can probably find a History Pack version for not too much. Again, I think Guardian's on the cheaper side. You know what I literally have while we're doing this? Easiest way to look at all the Guardian cards as well as from a price perspective. Guardian, done. I made these and then I always forget that I have them. Yeah. So, unfortunately, the cards won't load. Maybe they will. But yeah, Guardian is not currently an expensive hero to get into. But for instance, this card at the top, Imposing Visage, I guess we go like this. This is going to probably go up a lot. Because currently, its main use case was in Jarl, right? The Earth Ice Guardian hero. But there is a lot of cards about to release that this hits, right? So search your deck for an aura card with X or less. So that's its cost, and you have to pay 3 times. So if you say X is 0, you have to pay 0. If you say X is 1, you have to pay 3, right? So the fact that they're printing a whole bunch of 0-cost auras means you can play this card for free and specifically pull something from your deck, right? So yeah, Imposing Visage is probably a big one to get quickly, if that's your aim. But other than that, nothing super expensive. You have staples for certain heroes like Visit Goldbane and Golden Sun if you want to play Victor. And then you just have good filler pieces like Terra Sunder and Buckle because they give a card dominate. And then defensive stuff like Trounce. But yeah, there's probably enough to make a quality deck from Mastery Pack Guardian coming from Mastery Pack Guardian. I think equipment might be the big part. But what I can do is... there we go. Do that. Right? So that's the link to this list. And then you can make a copy, and then you have all the Guardian stuffs. And I mean, from the price perspective, this kind of tells you what's good, right? But I would definitely say Imposing Visage is probably the big one going into what we've seen from Mastery Pack Guardian. But in terms of building Valda, needs a headpiece. Oh, it's gonna be so slow. Is original February back yet? No. I think IO is the other one. That may be crazy. See if this loads any quicker. I have to remember my password. This is one we're using because they're migrating. Nope, that was not my password. There we go. Seems a little bit better. We'll try this version of Fabry. I mean, kudos to them for needing to become bigger. So it's another case of would have been cool if LSS, chimed in rather than setting up their own, or even if it just migrated to the Fab database and they ran it because they obviously know what they're doing. So headpiece wise, we should probably do proper, but I'm probably going to do for fun. I mean, it's most likely Crown of Providence and Balance, which is annoying because I'm still missing Balance. which, yeah, that's unfortunate. Those two cards almost equate to all Guardian Majestics in existence. But they are probably the best pieces to run. Put them in the maybe vanilla. It's just a defensive helm. Crown of Providence probably being the key one. Then we have Chest, which two big options would be either that or Tectonic. Probably Tectonic. But this still has a use case, so Earthborn Bounty. Whenever you draw a card from effect of an action card, create a Seismic Surge token from each card drawn this way. So it is a nice amount of block being tempered to, although, it's equivalent. They both block for 3, but then this gets destroyed and you get to continue using Tectonic Plating. But yeah, depending on how many draw effects, Earthborn Bounty is definitely nice. We'll stick with Tectonic for now. Then we have Arms. So on the Arms side of things, Greater Fist is the new one. That's defensive. You'd run 3. There is enough auras that you'd take all 3. Plus, at the end of the day, it's still 3 block blue. Well, no, I would probably still say take 3 if it was just Leyline. But you've got Promising Terrain, you've got the Clash ones, you've got, well, we'll do auras next. Make it easier. Why am I missing the new one? I guess it's not an Arms yet. Oh no, there we go. Gauntlets of Bold Hold. And might as well do Goliath Gauntlets then. So it depends how much block you want from these cards, I suppose. It's probably still Gauntlet's Fine Will because of the defensive nature. But I think for the fun of it, I probably want Goliath Gauntlet. But yeah, probably staples. Alright, we'll do auras. Make it easier. Actually, I can go this way. So in terms of Guardian auras, we have the big ones. Palm in your hands once Super Saiyan comes out, I think, in all honesty, goes into everyone. Because just, to me, it's so good, right? It's replace itself, float a resource, and then draw a card in 2 turns. And then as Pleiades, it's draw a card next turn. But yeah, so all these being blue, right? Right, Promising Terrain. So extra Seismic Surge generation, beautiful. I mean, just alone with Tectonic Plating, it gets you to 2 Seismic Surges. And then all you have to do is get that third one to trigger its effect. Seismic Shelter, action attacks you control get +X, right? So again, with Tectonic Plating, that's a +1 to all your attacks, which means this is already potentially worth its 3 value, right? If you're blocking with all 3 attacks from hand. But yeah, this can definitely be really good. Again, it's another 0-cost aura for Imposing Visage. Leyline. Draw Crown, meh. Daily Grind, that's the other big one. Right, so these are all potential targets for Imposing. We should probably put in. The idea here is you either find them, you find Imposing. From Imposing, you can then decide, am I on the defensive, right? Do I need that extra block from Seismic Shelter? Or do I want to be, on the aggressive? Do I want Promising Terrain for the Surge generation? Do I want Leyline just because it's good, right? So yeah, it has plenty of flexibility. I mean, Yalt will get 4, what was it? Channel, Hypothermia, and 1 other, right? So he took it for 3 and you ran it in all 3 copies. So I think in terms of just utility basis, that's probably what you want to take, right? Maybe Daily Grind gets reduced because it's more of just a fun, flavorful effect. But extra block, extra surge, and just a very good onboard aura to last. I should also note, this is my first foray into Guardian, for reference. So take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, Daily Grind, probably more just on the fun side, but I'm definitely going to take it, because I want to mill. I want to mill my opponents, and then hit them hard. Okay, then we're up to the legs. So legs, also unfortunately going to be an expensive side, right? Quick Dodge Flex is ridiculous. I mean, they're probably taken just for the defensiveness. But surely there's something fun we could take instead in our boot slots. Not really. Probably just be Civic Steps for the 2 block. Kind of want to run them, but we definitely need the heave to make them good. So yeah, it's probably Civic Steps. So she doesn't really need the Crater Hoof Dominate. No, it doesn't have to be blue, but at the same time, these are the only 0-cost auras. So for Imposing Visage, unless you want to pay a ridiculous amount, which is why the card for so long it's kind of bad, they have to be 0 cost, right? So the top right-hand side there, the 0 cost. So that means you can play Imposing Visage for 0 and still find them. You have to search your deck for an aura card with cost of X, right? In this case, X being 0. If X was 1, for instance, you'd have to pay 3, right? And then it really drops off. I don't think there are any other 0 costs in this. I mean, there might be 0 costs in general you can find. I mean, this isn't actually the worst target. Problem is, I don't have the headspace to use it. So Chains of Emirates. Name a card that can't be played, pitched, or used to defend. Right? Definitely an interesting effect, but probably not worthwhile. And then we have a weapon. So weirdly enough, we're gonna build this around clashing, even though we're not Victor, and this could definitely backfire. I think most likely you still just want like Titan Fist or anything that else gets to a 4. God. Now, you make me second guess. Print text, true text. I'm pretty sure. Oh, it is plus. That's fine. That's still. Yes, I'm wrong. But yeah, so in that scenario, it'd still be. It's this and a pitchable into finding something versus this and more, right? Yeah. But thank you for the correction. Still good. Not as insane. I mean, again, you still take it because it's finding specifically what you need in a certain case. And then if you find the auras without it. A good catch. I've done too much math. I see X3 and think this is 3. So yes, veto my my previous explanation. So yeah, similar idea, wrong execution. So yeah, weapon-wise, you probably just want something that hits 4 consistently. I mean, Mills Grindstone still does, unless you fail. But the fact that this Mills is why I'm going to take it. But probably Time Fists is the easiest to trigger. Because I think I definitely want a shield. They're very defensive, and we'll go for full value. Next Season Savior. Means we want visits. And that's basically the defensive backbone of the deck, and everything else now we fill with nice big Guardian attacks. Like Fiddlers. Well, they don't have to be Guardian specifically. Oh, Fiddler's green. What is it? Graveyard will do. Sirens? No. Was it Fiddler's green? Yes, it is Fiddler's green for the breakpoint, but maybe I don't want that. I am thinking of Sirens, though, so the fact that this is Gain a Life is nice. I suppose we should just do... Never do attacks, can you? Suppose you can type in attack. No, no. Close, but not really. Alright, we'll just go Guardian. Alright, so I do like Aftershock. Just a nice filler piece. Maybe I don't necessarily have to take it in red. This only problem is I do not know the correct stat point evaluation for this stuff. The only mentality I can have is take the quality cards. Like Chokeslam. Nope, not Chokeslam. Great Destroy card in the arsenal. Nope. So we want Crush because Valda's ability is to give Dominate. So we want good crush effects. I guess saying that, that's the correct starting point. To start with cards with crush. And I think we're fine taking them in lesser colors too, because they're still nice big attacks that you will end up discounting. So for instance, Leave a Dent allows us to mill. Headbutt is some level of protection. What cost perspective are we going? So the aim of the game is to get to 3 Seismic Surges, which means we always get a 3 discount. So 3 cost cards would be 0. But that means we need blues to pitch into them. I guess it is still cards like throwing them down. I think we still stick in blue. Or we just take the stuff that looks good. I suppose if we go full milling, the deck ends up looking like this. Run them down in the full color spectrum. And then probably the boulder drops. Right, because they're still good. Still lose a card. Here's the yellow. Just like that, we're at 40. Other crush effects are very damning. Undraw cards during their next action phase. Suppose that with Draw a Crown. Though Draw a Crown's not instant. Regard, Arsenal. Has no Arsenal disruption. Suppose you still want staples like Command and Conquer. I hate always just, auto-including the expensive cards. Can't draw. Gain. Have to pay. Suppose it would be bad little pulp. Fault line. 4 more. All cards in all arsenals. I don't know if that's worth just as a red. Suppose the Valda spec makes sense. Final Crush. Can't go again. That's the substantial one. Do still like Renounce and the Break Stature. But it definitely seems we're kind of attack heavy at this point. And then we want Seismic Surge generation. Guess we'll stick that in there maybe. Eruption seems really nice because it just auto-completes Velda's ability. I guess it should be Grandeur. Instability also seems really nice. Solid Ground is a defense reaction. Oh yeah, we're at 61. We also don't mind taking a whole bunch of cards because we're trying to fatigue. Do that in the maybe section because it's expensive-ish. Definitely missing Arcane. Still feel like I just like the Aftershock cards. Has to have Crush for the Dominate. I guess that's the letdown, is Aftershock can't be dominated by Valda. Then again, it's a guaranteed trigger. So it in blue is kind of nice. It's just a 6 you throw out. Do I want the red geyser? It seems so bad, though. Anyway, this is what I like to do next, is we draw, and then we realize what we can play. Yes. Yes. It is still really good. Even if I was slightly wrong. It's still 2 card. 2 card find a piece, right? Versus 1 card. I have to go check. Rouse, I've said 0. So, what I'm seeing from these hands is we do not have enough blues. I mean, we're very, very tanky. I mean, the main idea, well, at least my approach to Valda would be attack, wait, defend, attack, wait, defend, attack, wait, defend, right? Where we're trying to get that Arsenal card and then go into a big turn. I mean, this is not bad, right? Because Seismic Eruption and Grind Them Down is just autocomplete. And then on the defensive side, we'd have our shield to utilize. And then we could probably play Visit off of Tectonic. The main thing is the milling. Actually, well, no. Don't think all the cards would be up. I suppose it doesn't hurt to try. I am a visual learner. Let's see what's not available. Aftershock, Seismic Shelter, Tectonic Instability. That's actually not that bad, right? If I cut them. Tectonic Instability. Aftershock, Aftershock. I don't think I'd want the red anyway. Seems like that's usable. Well, thanks for saying so. Glad you enjoy. Nope. Seismic Shelter Blue. This one. A defensive aura. Still not bad. We can play through. Yeah, we can play through a few hands. See how it feels. Enjoy your rest. And yeah, thanks for saying so as well. Alright, so against basically anything but Brute and Guardian, you're pretty much always going to win the mill, right? I think that's another thing to look at, would be the weakest attack we have. It's probably a 5, so only stuff like CNC gets around it. Going first is kind of awkward. You still want to play the Seismic Eruption. I suppose it's Seismic Eruption, Tectonic, into... Makes it awkward with the Boulder Drop, though. I guess into swing. Right, that would be turn 1. We've set up pretty well. We hit awfully, unfortunately. This, only if there's a winner? Yes. If they win, put a negative counter. So if you draw, it's fine. If you lose is the problem. We get to Arsenal. We get our next hand. This is good in the case of Season Savior, because the idea here would be to block, get the final counter. And then Boulder Drop's free because of the Seismic Surge, which is nice. We can go Visit off of the other Boulder Drop. And all this... Oh, is Visit not go again? Visit is not go again. That makes Visit a little bit more awkward to use than what I was thinking. Really? I can't go back that far? This is why I like playing out the hand. We'll just continue from this point. Because it makes me rationalize things that I didn't think about, right? Like the cost. But that's still the correct start. I guess the aim would still be just to fish for Seismic Surge. Oh, now I'm missing the turn. I've done goof this whole match. Let's try again. Yeah, so I'm definitely seeing I do not have enough blues. I mean, you can still... I suppose it's just always Tectonic, and then Arsenal something we want to Arsenal. Well, I want to get rid of cards, so it's still milling into that. Maybe land it. Awful. Maybe Miller's Grindstone is a bit too greedy because of the negative to it. I mean, it's easy enough for us to activate Titan's Fist. Right, then Arsenal. Still block with Season Savior. I can get the trigger, which is actually good for putting them in their place. So the question then becomes, how many cards do I have to keep? If I play Seismic, I get 4. right? Meaning if I keep a blue, I can still tectonic. So the idea here is I can block with Break Stature and Visit if need be, or keep one to Arsenal, right? Would be the go here. But, again, fatigue, so you probably overblock like that. Forget to play Seismic Eruption. Play Seismic Eruption. Then we can go Tectonic into Equipment Place, Dominate. Usually probably be blocked with one card. Interesting. Oh, because it auto-passed to my turn? Yeah. Why? Why didn't he attack? Weird. Because of whatever this is. Also, I apologize. I am on the wrong screen. There we go. Shifted into the correct place. Which is annoying, because now I have to go back and forth when we tweak it, right? But usually they would have attacked, so this would have been another defensive turn. Well, actually, no, it would have... This is where putting in their place really shines, because we just continue snowballing with it, essentially. So in this scenario, I can go posing, off of solid ground, find the ley line, which is just the dream, right? And then we only need one resource. So we can go tectonic, off of seismic eruption, play put them in their place. Another 10 dominates. Would again most likely generate 3, not 4, but still. And we're at 7 because we got the hit as well. So on this turn, we can basically do whatever we want. Which is, I guess, setting out 2 daily grinds. No, it'd still be, again, play the defensive. I think Testament's better in this scenario. I sold myself short. I was thinking it would be way too hard to get to enough Seismic Surge. But 6 is probably not too difficult from what we're seeing here. Granted, I've drawn surprisingly well. God. The only thought case is attacks aren't big enough. They're all the cheap 3-ish ones when we should be really going big, right? Because even at a 6 cost basis, as the aim for Valda, that's still only 1 card. Whereas right now, just it feels bad to not be able to play something bigger, essentially. But considering it's free, we get 9 block value out of here. And then be able to attack with Boulder Drop. In this scenario too, I'm not relying on the weapon as much. Which means that maybe Miller's Grindstone isn't the worst case scenario. Unless it's a hero clash with them, so it's still fine into like gravy against allies. Tectonic also always upkeeps Leyline. Now we're on the bit cheaper side. This would be a 4 cost. Which is again not too bad because we go Seismic. You pitch the 2 blues, play Break Stature. Then even if this doesn't land, right, we still got 1 to upkeep Leyline. And we can Arsenal to put them in their place. Yeah, I'm starting to think we don't worry about the fatigue side of things, and just try to be nice, big, aggressive Valda, maintaining seismic surges. This is a 4, so it's always about keeping a blue and a red. A blue and a yellow. God. I hate it when my brain does that. It's weird. It just says the opposite of whatever I'm thinking. But if that's the scenario where we're always getting to 3 or 1 or 2, yeah. So I think this is why I play. Oh, that is, well, kind of works, right? So our basis, our cost basis, we want 4, 5s, and 6, right? And then that means we want mainly yellows and blues, with the choice red hero there, which would be like the Valda spec and CNC. But yeah, good enough start. So probably change the weapon. Which again, I meant to type weapon, but because I'm thinking about Miller's Grindstone, I type Mill. So yeah, so Dying Fist, because we want a shield, is probably the best case scenario. Sledge is also kind of interesting. Because again, yeah, on a weapon swing turn, we're still most likely paying 5. Because we want a tectonic weapon swing. No, but I want the shield. Has to be Dying Fist. Iron Fist, probably Testament instead of Seasoned Savior. If we're doing that, we can take out Visit. That's maybe something we swap in for a Fatigue match. Maybe we do try and build a 60-card deck and then end up with a Fatigue sideboard. But yeah, so we want to mainly be in blue and yellow. We don't have to worry about Clash too much because it's more of an extra thing, right? Do we have any Clash that super backfires? I don't think so. We do want Crush effects in blue and yellow. I like Headbutt, right? Because, again, wards against equipment. I'm forgetting Pummels as well. Play on the field, deals 4 more. I mean, the fact that you can give this Dominate, I guess, you like playing the field. Maybe Renounced Grandeur goes. Writing them down red probably goes. Final Crush probably stays. It's probably put them in place. Final Crush and CNC would be the red cards you want. And everything else, blue and yellow. Crush and Bash. When this fans may reveal a card with Crush. It's probably some more defensive cards we could probably take. Gain is also kind of nice. No, I'd like a set of like 3 Crush, then I can swap in and out depending on the matchup. Like this, great for wide. This great, I guess, for wide, big, or anything. I guess Debilitate and the one that makes Cartilage Crush, makes them cost 1 more, is good as well. Plus they're 3, so they're a free card to play. Yeah. When in doubt, stick them in the deck and give it a run through. Debilitate. Missing Debilitate, aren't I? Stable. No, but we're tanky enough. Plus, Debilitate's not that good. Any wide class with a weapon can just do the weapon into it. But definitely Cartilage Crush, because it's like Frostbite Mini. Then it's just about attacks in general. And we want, I guess, cost at least 3 or greater. So, yeah. I guess it's cool for backup as well. And this feels like overkill, but it can definitely lead to good things. The problem, well, no, because it is just something you throw out to defend. It's good for Clash, and it's good for defending. But it's probably just CNC and then Pummels. Probably Pummel yellow and red. Yellow and blue, god. Awful. Anything else jumping out? Not really setting up any auras, though. Like, buffs, I mean. And I just... Alright, I see why I did. CNC is a 2-cost card. Oh, there it was. What are we at? 58. And then Pummels. Nice thing with the Dominate is it's a lot easier. You don't need the full red. Alright, let's see if all the cards are good. We can give it a run through. Beautiful. Alright, let's see how this feels. So Testament instead, which is also a bit better because we're sort of snowball, right? In the sense of what we want to build up to. So the Seismic Surges won't come into play till later. So I think just always starting turn, if we're going first, is just pitch into this in a swing. Is it worth keeping the Pummel instead? Yeah, because we don't have Seismic Surge, so the Pummel's more valuable than an actual attack at this point. we do that. Gets the trigger. Just a 4 anyway, but we've got the Seismic Surge. And we're hoping to draw something a little bit cheaper. Post Cartilage Crush would have been fine. Would have been a 4. Been a 7. Would have been a 6. No, Spinal Crush. But that's with the prospect that we draw back into Pummel. Arsenal that. I mean, Grind them down's a nice, easy card to hit. So we want to pummel Tectonic. That's always 3. So we want to keep a blue and a yellow, right? So we can block with Final Crush, Equipment, and our Shield, which being turn 2 should be nice and easy. As in, to play or play against? Play against is just block and swing. Gravy, as long as you can get rid of the big stuff, not awful. Fatigue's probably one of his worst matchups. He just has no rushing ability, right? I mean, the most egregious he can be is like a Goldkiss Rum, Mage Master, and Diamond Amulet, which would be with Compass, maybe set up 2, swing 2, set up 3, swing 2, right? And then in that case, it's block out, hit, block out, hit. The only issue now is a 4 isn't as worthwhile, where maybe Sledge is better, and you drop the shield. It's just that way you always have a weapon that can majorly clear. What was I doing? Block with that, because the idea is to play grind up. I am overblocking, but the main idea here is to see how much block value we can get. Right, and then the idea here would be to go Tectonic, run them down, and then pummel. And then this would be slower turn, where maybe I don't actually need the Tectonic if I know I'm going to a slower turn, where I just want to set something up. So in this case, it's probably imposing off of a blue. I'd like to get something to the arsenal, but it's not the end of the world. So we'd have, and not that great of block access. We'd have 5 block going into imposing off of leave a dent. Most likely find ley line, depending on what you're up against. Pass. Arsenal. Probably not getting used this turn. How much is it? The 5. So, actually, no, that's still fine with Tectonic, right? So, I only have to keep 2 blues here. So, I'd have 5 block. And then you'd be able to go Tectonic. Guarantees ley line sticks around. We're still struggling to get to that 3 in order to guarantee. Oh, right, the draw effect, yeah. Yeah, the Valda spec is just so good. Because now it's kind of a snowball effect, right? Because I'll get the one off Tectonic, I'll get the one off of ley line. So I'm just missing 1. And in this case, if I just imposing off of the blue, don't worry about the pummel, I can get a promising terrain now, right? And then that's enough. Yeah. Like this blocks for 4 now because we have the Seismic Surge. I could have given the pummel too, so could have blocked for 6. But we go 3, boulder drop, get promising terrain. This is fully discounted, so I can Tectonic. And that's why I need the pummel. Right, that's 2 there. And then we can send Spinal Crush as a Dominate. On hit, generate 2 more Seismic Surges. We're at 4. And then from here, we sort of just snowball. Although, this is the only awfulness. I guess the snowball there is I just have a whole bunch of cards to block with. Right? My mind is trying to get more value out of the attacking cycle. But with Promising Terrain, knowing I'll draw most likely an attack, I only have to keep 2 cards. So I could have blocked with 3 things. Right? And then it's just about trying to go Tectonic. So most likely keeping a blue, drawing an attack. Doesn't really matter what's the best to play here. Right? So 1 off of that. Then we go back down to 2. So we are missing 1-ish Seismic Surge generation from one sort of area. Would be nice. I guess I don't think there's anything with an on hit to deal damage in Guardian. Yeah, so that turn really should have been about blocking. This is where higher cost cards would be slightly better. We'll start with 6. Not too many. You can take the Quakes, I guess. No. Mantra Grande, I guess, is still good just because it's a big cost dominate. But yeah, God. If these weren't solely against Guardian. I suppose Battle or Pulp should be in. Anything higher? Mantra Grande is a 7. Or a 10 dominate. 8. 9. Powering Titan, but that's set up. Peck Perfect. Yes, Peck Perfect's nice. Doesn't have the tie-in though enough for Valda for me. Hmm. 4 cost? Yes, 4 cost is the main thing. Which is always a 5 cost if we're always doing Tectonic. Which is why we're in yellow, red. Yellow, blue mostly, God. Hmm. Yeah, no, I guess it's just about value. Just about being able to swing and block. And all the extra cards we get from any sort of means, or, you know, the less cards required to play into something, the more we just block. Right? So, in that scenario, quick dodge flexes is probably better, but costly. Crown of Providence is probably the headpiece, and Crater Fist, just because it offers the most block. And if need be, it's a +2, but most likely it's just taken because it's a 3 block. Ranger is definitely nice. For backup, I guess to hit the Valda spec, right? Or CNC, or Spinal Crush. Yeah, there's good enough targets for it. Probably not ready yet. It'd be that defensively. Probably be Sledge against Gravy, because you need the higher attack now. And it still works into our 5 cost basis, right? Yellow and a blue. That's definitely sideboard. That's definitely sideboard. Arcane is currently the problem. Head's a free slot. Chest isn't, though. And arms are a free slot against Arcane. And legs. Because whether or not Sabatons is better than the permanent Arcane Barrier, it's not. Not better. That would be the sideboard for equipment. Means we don't actually have much wiggle room for the deck. There'd be no point taking Savior and Visit, unfortunately. I probably do still want instability because it works really well. So yeah, out muscle. Bend by cards with out muscle and the other one. That was beating. The problem is they definitely sort of win more, right? Because it's under the assumption that I get to keep the majority of my hand. When I think even with this scenario, it's not about rushing your opponent down, it's still fatiguing them. And Guardian's still just very fatigue based. So as long as I'm getting, block value, where these 2 cards need to go in, so I only have to cut 3 cards. So maybe even Pummel's greedy, weirdly enough. And it's just about presenting something that they have to block, right? Because it has a debilitating effect. So maybe grind them down is a bit too greedy. Because this with Seismic Surge is perfect, right? Be 3 card plays with a big, big turn. But even this into a weapon swing is still nice. And like outmuscle into gravy is really nice. But we are also, I think, in a fine spot to do Zealous Beating as well. Maybe. You'd probably want the 4 and for outmuscle. Does it have 3 block? No, it doesn't have 3 block. Outmuscle is nice in the sense you could take it into gravy. Take one of the lesser. You could take yellow or blue and still be fine. And be like that into Anvil. Clear. That's more of a need case. I think surprisingly I don't want to get too greedy with it. It's probably cut grind them. It's still just something we can target with Dominate though. Why did I take Fly in the field? Weird. I'm going to remove stuff because there's stuff here that I want to take. At least card count wise. I mean, Grange is just good in general. Well, no, it doesn't block, so it's actually not that great. Because we're not taking anything defensively that I have to pitch into. We're really leaning into the block with attacks instead. Aftershock's so nice to me, but yeah. So we have 9 cards there, and we're at 74. So we're actually over. Guess what else I can get away with? I guess Gauntlets is just better than Crater Fist because I'm never really going to use the +2. Is it the pummels? Just because they're 2 blocks? It's such a good effect, but I think it's just lean into the Dominate. Play it again. Yeah, so Gravy. Guardian. Arcane. That should be also for Gravy. I think equipment-wise, it's pretty much on point. I think this is a great start. God. I just have to do the math in my head, though. That's going in the arsenal. It'll be a 4. So it'll be a 5. So it'll be 2 cards. Yeah, it's fine. So it's still Tectonic. Pitch. Right, and all these activates Titan's Fist, which is good. And it doesn't really matter when I do it. Maybe it would have been more safe to keep a cheaper card. Arsenal that. And then our turn is 4. I like to fit this in, but probably not. This is Dominate, it's a big enough attack anyway, but I don't really need the pummel, although that'd be a 6. So I mean, this is pretty nice. Right, that's how much block we have essentially. Turn 1. What have I've blocked with 1 too many cards. 10. 10 is our block. Technically, I could crown if needed. But 10 block turn 1 over 4 cards. So there's a little bit of flexibility there. Three, 4. Yeah, I've counted correctly. Right, so we can still Tectonic. I don't want to play Imposing, but this is still, very devastating hand. Right, and then we go Righteous Cleansing with Dominate. Floating 2, so the opponent knows what's coming. Then a pummel. Matter it's a bot. Right, and then we're back to being defensive. So Solid Ground's okay. Right now it's 2 cost. So the idea here would be just to be able to block, which shields offline, unfortunately. But I guess it's just use the solids. I mean, ideally we want Arsenal and Tectonic. I suppose we don't need tectonic? Feels a bit clunky. We're not just continuing to escalate. But this was instant, so we could block with solid ground. I suppose then you'd be able to use a discount solid ground. I guess it's, yeah, just block with solid ground. You'd block with one, and then if need be, you'd give the second one. But I can't even swing in this sense. Maybe a swing is better than tectonic. I mean, that makes it significantly better. Especially because you can... No, you can't play Promising Terrain. I can play Seismic. No, I can't use it to block. We don't get to enough. Yeah, but it still puts me at 4. Still gives me Crush. Maybe the pummels are greedy. Because maybe in that turn, instead of a pummel, it should have just been something to Arsenal. To go into my next turn. It's weird to say that pummel might be greedy. But we need 1 blue, so it's probably playing the Promising Terrain. So I don't think I get to 3 either to use it anyway. Unless I, saved Seismic Eruption. Which I don't think it's worth delaying a turn. So we're using that, pitching that. Can't reactivate Tectonic, God. So we'd have 6 block plus, some other stuff. Technically, I Crown of Providence, look for something cheaper. But 6 block's not the worst, right? So then go into getting to Seismic Eruption. Then going into Righteous Cleansing. Again with Dominate. Potentially a bit of mill. Means if it hits good here. Yes, Teleshare doesn't know Righteous Cleansing. Into a 4 block, so again we go on defensive. So it's probably 2 turns of defensive with this hand, although we want to put them in their place. So put them in their place without the Dominate trigger is kind of bad. You really want to get the 3 off of it. Because that just really escalates things. Maybe Daily Grind's too slow. Maybe it should just be Leyline and Promising. Problem is, this is a lot of value just out of our attacks. I guess, again, it'd be 6 block worth of value. Hoping to then go Daily Grind, Arsenal. And we have the ability to get a little bit extra block. We have Seismic Eruption again, which is fantastic. Such a good card. And then every time we block with attack. So, need to keep a blue. That lets me Tectonic, so that's nice. So we'd be able to block with 2 attacks. So Clash twice. Yeah. Destroy 2 of their cards. Seismic. I miscount. No. I did. Can't Tectonic, but I can still put them in the place off of a blue. The 10 Dominate gets us... 10 Dominate gets us... Alright. It's so weird that it just skips a turn every now and then. Right? So then with 4, 1 blue goes in Tectonic. So, again, they should have attacked. We should have blocked with 2 cards. And then it'd be Tectonic. The Cartilage Crush into put them in their place. And then we wouldn't have a card to Arsenal, so I'm not going to Arsenal anything. Now they're attacking. And we have 5, so... Break Stature is free, so that's the thing to keep. Again, we'd have 6 block. Can't Grandeur, we're 1 off. Sorry, Testament. Stuck in my mind that Grandeur is part of it. And then we can go Leave a Dent. Leave No Dent's probably greedy. Next Guardian attack gets Crush. Next Guardian attack. So that is good with a weapon swing, but then you're getting rid of the 3. The Seismic Surge that's worthless. Need to find which attack this is worthwhile to use with. Right? Because that's nothing I'm not really playing to the strength of Guardian, which is we can just block second cycle. Try to keep things in mind, and then line stuff up a bit better. Because Leave a Dent definitely has value depending on what we're hitting with it. So that would have just been a defensive turn. Very curious what's in their hand to make them not attack. It's ruining my my thought process. I mean, with this hand, the greedy play is just double hits, promising terrain. Now, Leyline's still what you want to get out first, but maybe we want to do something with the cards that we can't do anything with. That gets us 3, and then 2 cards for our following turn. This is another promising. I mean, we got rewarded with the pummels. So 2 cost, 4 cost, 6 cost, so 2 blues. So I can play the promising. You are right. They are heave dominate, which is actually really nice. Oh, plus they look cool. Yeah, you're onto something there, I think. Because heave is actually really good. That's probably something I'm not utilizing enough. Because that's sort of the other half of our Seismic Surge generation that I'm not utilizing. More heave. Anyway, get double pummeled. Because yeah, I mean, we'd have to keep more cards, but it's definitely nice on the defensive side. Heave, heave, heave. They're big attacks. Is really cool. So they still hit our 5 cost sweet point as well, right? Where we can go tectonic into them. Pulverize out of reach? I think, yeah, just because it's a 10 dominate. And maybe that's the other side I'm missing. It's just take really big dominating attacks and then a real set of defensive cards. And you don't need all the extra crush bloat that I have. Because that's the other thing. We have those turns where we get a whole bunch of Seismic Surge, and then it feels sort of bad playing these cheaper cards. Because even hitting 6 is not, a super difficult feat, so we don't necessarily even need the heave. This just being a 10 dominate for us is fantastic. God, they actually have a purpose. But probably not all of them. Take one set. Because I like this artwork the best. But as much as like... I think Boulder Drop is enough. Disruption, that's good enough. Cartilage Brush, probably not. It's a shame, but I don't think the mill's working out from grind them down. Leave a dent. All the cards I was excited about just don't end up fitting super well. This was instant. All the mill goes bye-bye. God. Yeah. That already looks so much better than reading it. I mean, Seismic Shelter is still fantastic. Let me put these in the inventory so at least I can watch the card count. But none of these are up on Color Share just yet. Maybe we take more of them? Yeah, God, the crush is so good on it. If I take all of them, that's too many reds. Yeah, it's definitely going to be Victor's thing. You know what? We'll do style points. Take one of each. And that does open us up to either take more defensive stuff. Is there any good crush I'm missing? I don't know why. I like that so much more than break stature. But I suppose the cost is why we want break stature. Hotline 3 cost. Can I sort by costs by chance? Pitch name? Nope. Maybe 5 old ones at most. Messing with my OCD. Has to be this or 6. 5, 8. No, so if we're taking them, we might as well take Crush with an effect. God. What do we want it at? We're aiming for 3 every turn. Then at most we can take 8 cost. Yeah. So no, nothing's off limits. So we want at most an 8 cost, right? Because that would be 5, which is what we've stacked around. And then if we have a blue, we can tectonic. Which means we want 8s and 5s, essentially. Technically 8s, 7s, 5s, and 4s. And 6s. Essentially, we want 4 through 8. And we can make it work. But 7s would be the most consistent. We need to go back to Master Back Guardian. I'm already forgetting the new stuff. First defense clash. Frozen aura. That could backfire horribly. Effect perfect. Doesn't have a crush, so fortunate. Chestivine grip. I mean, this sort of feels like taking it. No. The other hero discards a card. Yeah. Yeah, I think if you can't guarantee it, you can't. You can't super justify running it. Fault line? Too cheap, though, weirdly. It is Arsenal disruption, though. For crowd, clash, clash, clash. Guess it's mainly just the old stuff. Hmm. Wrong one. Yeah, RPS. I want to see. I mean, we know what it looks like. The big card and everything. That'll be nice. Well, I guess it is Spinal. Just has a nice 6. Blue. I guess we'll take 2 of each for now. And if it gets rough, we'll cut one. Mangle. Mangle could be nice. Eventually, this will be good. Just need more heroes to tap. There are 55 plus these 3 would be good. We have 4 card slots, so technically we can still take something a bit more defensive. It would probably be Grandeur. It's still useful, especially on promising terrain on leyline turns. Oh, it doesn't block, and then one other set of 3. Must be something defensive that would be worthwhile. Yes, Captain of the Guard? Just because it's great. God. They're right in front of me, yet I'm still having the worst time shifting between my tabs. So much so that I just closed it. IO was the one that was loading quickly. Also, this shouldn't be called Searching Nil anymore. What'd I say? Captain. Alright, so we can test it. These all need to go back to the Navy. So that's 80 cards at the very least. And majority revolving around Master Pack Guardian, which is nice. With exception of the TCG cards. Ah. Blinding. Interesting. Were they not revealed at the same time? See if the old ones actually do work. Yep. What's the effect on blinding? They've got me intrigued now. That's weird because to me that already exists, right? Whereas destroy all equipment with negative counters seems a bit more awkward. Anyway. Alright, let's see how this feels with the extra little bit of heave. I mean, that's a start. Yeah. Done. That's a gross turn one. Into, we don't need to buff it. I need a blue. But it's probably just play the Promising Terrain. Because I would assume we get damage across. So we can still block with this. Which is still an immense amount of value, right? And then go Tectonic. Nope, nope. Order. Go Promising Terrain, then Tectonic. And then swing. And it's a 10 dominate. I would assume we get some damage across, which then gets us more Seismic Surge. And we get the Promising Terrain. So now it's a 4. So this is a 2. They would have attacked. But I hate having to think about what we would have given. So we wouldn't have seen the pummel, right? So we would have had this hand with 4 Seismic Surges. So the idea would be to keep, put them in their place in the blue. So we could have still blocked 6, plus equipment. We're not really getting enough value, I think, out of Testament, maybe? Maybe I'm just being way too greedy. It's still 3 block. That's still pretty insane. I mean, screw it. It's the turn it's giving us, so we might as well just go nuts. Pitch that. Send that. Pummel it. Probably want to keep... Yes, the Cartilage Crush, because we end up with 2. No, it still puts it down to a blue. Oh. I mean, I'd get to pick, wouldn't I? This hits this, the defending hero discards card. Yeah, yeah. So you'd get to pick. You could do the Valda first, which is what you want, because you want to maximize how much they draw, and then the discard. I don't know if it's done it, because I can't see the Seismic Surge. I think it has at 5. Why is it 5? Oh, because I completely forgot about Valda. So this is free. So we want to set up Promising, pitch Grandeur, Tectonic, and then heave this at the end of our turn. So now we're just on the full offensive front, basically, right? So we go Promising, Tectonic, we get 4 more out of this. That's nuts. We play Break Stature for free. Yeah, I could pitch the Spinal Crush because I don't need it. And it's a red attack that I would have wanted for later. We can still Break Stature, pass, heave, pass. Wow, actually Solid Ground is perfect here. Nice, free, 5 block. Seismic Eruption with it. I mean, it doesn't matter, we're just still playing it. So, is Command and Conquer not needed? Do we just want the Guardian stuff? I mean, it feels like we're snowballing pretty hard here. But, I mean, take it. How many resources? Just a 10 dominate. College Crush, because it'll be discounted. Off the blue. College Crush is free. We pummel it. I don't have the resources to heave, though. Do I even need them at this point? Oops. Can't pitch for that. It's still big. It doesn't have Dominate now, so I guess that's where things drop off. Once we lose the Dominate. It's still big. Feels like CNC is getting cut, yeah. Because even with, you know, a defense reaction, they're most likely blocking 7. And again, it's a fatigue case where we want them to just slowly die. Okay? So showing them out with the Dominate feels a bit better. Because as long as we can continue playing everything for free, or at least close to free, but it's just so good. Junks up their arsenal. But does it? Kind of feels like a weak link in the deck. We're also, though, relying on Leyline a lot, which there's, you know, rough matchups for. I kind of just want more heave, so that we get more Seismic Surge, or we kind of take the lesser Seismic Surge. Yeah, it does feel clunky. I mean, that's kind of the issue. Usually with CNC, it's just you draw it, you play it, right? That's the usual mentality. If I'm at the point where I'm thinking, do I want to play this? Do I even want to save this? It just becomes a red burden, right? In terms of pitching. Hey, Moz. I'm very curious, can you hear my cat going nuts on the door? Probably only when I talk, because I open the mic gate. Yeah. The old ones are really growing on me because of the heave aspect and them just being big attacks that work with Valda. 65. Yeah, there's a full deck. Yeah. Yeah, because it feels like it's just about keeping up the Seismic Surge and just being able to block. That's the heave comes in real good. Oh, cool. My cat's not that loud. I can hear it. It's irritating as shit. He just wants in, but then once the door's open, he's fine. Needy cat. Yeah, red just stuck in your hand and blocks heavers. Yeah. Not good. I mean, that makes me happy, though. Aside from the really expensive generics. I mean, you know, Granger's not needed at all. I mean, it's probably not worthwhile at all. Yeah, that's basically what we're getting to. To a point, I almost think Pummel's not worth it either. Because you don't necessarily need it. I'd rather just take more consistent surge generation. What else is there? Yeah, Tessamite. Especially if we're so heavily leaning into the really big attacks too. Just that one time where you use it on yourself and you're screwed. I suppose you just don't run it in those matchups. It seems to be going really nice. Like, we're just playing against practice dummy, but you know, we haven't really bricked, which is always a great sign. Call for backup worthwhile, yeah, because I can pick something with heave, and that sort of guarantees that next turn generation as well. No, because I draw it. I should put the other top. Hmm. Probably not call for backup. Captain of the Guard, if we're just defending, still seems nice because there's enough value there, right? We only have to block with it in advantage and one other card to get, you know, to make it a 4-block. The Tesla Iron Grip is probably sideboard material. It's just really nice to be able to put them in their place multiple times because this is such a good engine for Valda. But it's whether or not there's two good cards, right? Because they can just not pick, put them in their place. So maybe call for backup. Doesn't end up making it either. Grandeur feels greedy. Yeah, the pummels feel greedy. Give me more heave and surge. Technically good value. And we were getting to 2 Seismic Surges a lot. Yeah. Captain the Guard for wide. Aggro. Right, just have a whole bunch of 4s is nice. Tesla the Iron Grip for anything that's not, you know, going to contest it too well. They're definitely sideboard cards. They're also down here currently because these aren't on Teleshare just yet. So I can't put, like, Tectonic Instability just seems fantastic. But I can't run it because it doesn't count it yet. And I assume Geyser as well because it's one of the newer ones. But then I have to take it in red. This in red, just these 2 cards in red don't feel good. Awesome. Did it do okay? He seems the right power level for Project Klloo. Fearless Confrontation. The -1 card. It's another sideboard-ish piece. But you can't... Target attacks get -1. Target attack. No. So, they're an attack action card, but they're not an attack on the top of the deck when they're revealed, right? So you can't Fearless Confrontation to win a clash. The losing Dominate's always really good. I mean, this is a great card. I don't think it has a place, even as sideboard, in this deck. But Gravy loves it. Loves it to death. Loves it. Just 1 extra life. The 3 generics from this just seem really good. Yep, going up against Dromizer. Yeah, Dromizer rough. There's still going to be just those standout decks, just because of how they function. Like, even Frostbite with the Icelanders, I think just generally rough, even toned down in Project Klloo. Hmm. It's either more heave or more surge. I mean, we can try them and see how they feel. Otherwise, what do we have? Where's this? I mean, this is not bad, actually. A 4-block that we can probably proc. I lost game because I want to go Nimblism, Jack be quick, Snatch, go again into Dragon Money All your life, eh? Made me steal the dragon so opponent could block Snatch. Wow. That is rough, because, yeah, choice. And it's most likely a shitty dragon, right? I think you made some small improvements. The deck does have legs. Sometimes you just present 17 out of nowhere. Yeah, that was definitely the feel I was going for. That's good. I like starting at, or having a workable start. That's the only, like, the big thing for me is I have to really play a deck to understand where I've gone wrong or what needs slight tweaking mechanically. But I'm glad it's a start. And you enjoyed it, right? But yeah, you can have some pretty nuts turns. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's not as easy as Go Again Generation as Bolton, but still, good. Yeah. Yeah. Crab legs. I mean, we're losing slots. They're also not called crab legs. But yeah. Because we are heathen. It is nice. And I'm only taking these because I guess they're the most value. Do I even like Base of the Mountain? Because this is for wide. I guess for the dominate, but I'd rather just 2 block legs. Also, I would assume this isn't ready yet. I feel like we're just going to have all the boots, in all honesty. But yes, this for Heave is really nice. How many cards are we away? 58, 16, 68, 74. Oh, perfect. We're 6 cards away. What was I thinking? Right, the block to reveal a crush. Maybe it is Overswing. I was kind of shitting on the card, but maybe it has a place. For this being a nice 4 block that synergizes. Maybe it is just Seismic Stir. It's just not as good as the instant. Geyser. Surface shaking. Kind of feels like you really want it with Earthwall Bounty, though. I guess Tectonic's not... it's 2 block, never mind. I was going to say it's not bad because you can just feed the remaining resources into it. I guess it's Seismic Stir. At least it's 3 block. Whether I want the instant Valda trigger or the extra resources. Or... what am I trying to say? Yeah, I was thinking guys is better. Because a lot of the time we were also getting to 2. Like, once you have Leyline, getting to 2 is not difficult. The fact that this completes it for 3 turns is probably better. We'll try it, but I assume it's not up on Teleshare. Geyser. Ooh. Contemplating. Also, I think I might have bugged it because I clicked the game before I logged in. I feel like the Teleshare people might hate me because the amount of games I just randomly create. I mean, I concede most of them when I remember, but I do leave so many open. Remembrance. Hit actions, but 3. Yeah, there's plenty of good hits for it too. Yeah. Plus, I like in the last few days, I was taking a crack at Zen Tigers again, and the amount of games I just left crashed. Uh, what are we hitting with Remembrance? So it's obviously it's probably just as many put them in their places as you can hit with Remembrance. But then you still have other solid picks. Is it just no instance, or can you? Is it no defense, or is it just solely attacks, actions? I know what I'm trying to say. You may probably don't. Couple with 3 actions, so it is just actions, but that's fine because you can put them in their place. You can put them in their place, and you can put them in their place. But I don't think that's a bad call. It's probably a card that you kind of feels bad finding early. But again, we're built around 5, right? So it's still a yellow to pitch into a blue. Not too bad. We decide, guys, it doesn't work. See if this one loads. Interesting. Now I'm curious if Talisha is just down. And we can do it the crappy way. So turn 1 is just swing and tectonic, which means we go down to a 4 or 2. So break stat is still fine, right? Nope, because we draw all reds. Although we'd be able to get 1 more, so break stature would be a 3 cost. So technically we could still play it, but we wouldn't get the dominate. Technically, we could have defended, so we could have played that, and we could have used Cranial Crush. Probably a lot less horrible to lay yellows in Guardian with the Seismics. Yeah. Yeah, plus, it's just, like, if you could guarantee drawing the put them in their places consecutively, it'd be absolutely insane. Just, it's so good, the fact that, you know, with Dominate, it's most likely a 3/3/3. And then even if your opponent has an instant or something they can get rid of, right, you can then just Tectonic, and then it's still almost 3/3/3, right? Just the guaranteed Valda trigger. So nice. Same with Seismic Eruption. But even hitting like the heave cards, because these are just a blue, right? Tectonic and 2 floating to heave at the end of your turn. Valda's online. We need to not disclose this, and hopefully no one else clues in. Ronnie, still around? You're not to tell other people about the crush tech with heave. These are meant to be awful, right? No one cares about them because they're mainly for limited. They're just so smooth running in Valda. Just a 10 dominate. It's just better Marcha Grandes, essentially. You know what? I play a few more hands. The fact that I'm not logging in makes me think Talisha is still a problem. Yeah. It is definitely a lot nicer than, like, Bravo paying into it. And that's another thing we're not considering, or at least I'm not considering, is the draw element on their side. It's like going into Gravy. It's disgusting. I mean, into Gravy, you almost don't care about the Anvil to clean up the board. You'd probably just have big enough attacks. What? Melody's not jank. I still bring Melody to events. Oh, I'm so perturbed that I missed the Skirmish seasons before the book burning with Melody. Because all it's like rolling dice, essentially, right? There is a possibility that you could have got, 3-4 wins in a row with it. But yeah, no, this is such good. I mean, I think even just the 5 is wrong. I think it is take all 9. Because, yeah, just so clean into setting up Valda. I think it's actually a pretty solid start. Like, it's probably just what I will end up building, which is nice because I always just chirp the commons and rares. Now I know at least what to pull out. Yeah, nice and big. Right, we can just swing back and forth, but you'll send your turns, I'll send my bigger turns. Although Brute can still set up some really, really offensive stuff. Third time's a charm. Let's see. Where's my phone? That's the other way. See, what I was meant to be doing is sorting cards. So I just clued into the differences in Arcane Rising cards, first edition. So I was meant to I have the foils somewhere. I'm meant to go through and see which ones are different. If Talish, if Talish is not working, I'll probably do that for a little bit. But I close my phone. I always thought it was just the pink strips, but it's actually surprisingly a lot of cards in the first editions that they're slightly different. I don't know if they're purposeful different. Am I trying to go Collector Center? But we have Welcome to Rathe, Arcane Rising, and Crucible. But I'm pretty sure Welcome to Rathe is just the pink strips, right? So essentially erroneous misprint. Which I have my nice little pink book. But yeah, I didn't realize that Arcane Rising Rainbow Falls are missing the reminder text for a lot of cards. Well, basically all the cards. Not all the metal normal. Misprinted. Interesting. So I gave a whole stack of first edition stuff that I've meant to sort and pull out those types of cards. Alright, last chance. Y'all? Surprised no one's put on the Reddit. What about you? Network error, fetch unknown. See, I don't know if this is my error. Probably my error. I've probably, sent too many packets. I'm going to feign that I know what I'm talking about. And the normal server response is to not block, but what's the word? Freeze my IP, right? Till it's resolved. Because, yeah, it's just, I'm not getting any information back from Teleshare, apparently. So I think we'll leave it there. It's still a good deck. It's not named rightfully. What would be? Instead of Mill, it's Heave. But yeah, looking forward to it. 1 week, and then I can build this. Cool. Wow. I have to pull. I have to pull well. Plus, they also have to come in the mail. Actually, oh god. Because I won't be at my LGS, because it's somewhat farish, right? Till the Thursday after. Because releases are always on Friday, and our armories are on Thursdays. But then I can take this to CC. Alright. Let's sort some miscellaneous cards. Problem is, I do have to keep this up. So I can actually see which cards. And we can quickly thumb through some stuff and see what exactly is slightly different. I can pull it aside, put it in a nice book. Actually, we worked on it together, so the nice thing to do is to remember that fabry.net is offline. In a sense. There we go. Oh, For a minute, I was thinking I delete my own link. That's the deck list. Good. Good. I don't necessarily like to make them public, because I do look at the stats every now and then from people playing them, and sometimes it's just taken. It was just used one for one. But yes, through the link, we can share the deck. All right. I have to remember which piles are. Yeah, so that's the good stuff we pulled from Heavy Hitters. Go on my Majestic pile that I need to sort at some point. All the chaff from Heavy Hitters, which can go, God, back into the Heavy Hitters box. We need to separate First Ed, Arcane, Crew. So I don't think there's many misprinted cards in Crew. Only ones that come to mind are the traps, right? I can never remember if it was errated against or for that must be played from Arsenal, or if the Crew ones were the only ones that have to be played from Arsenal. Lots of ifs and buts. Alright. I think this is a pile of foils. Somewhat pre-prepared. Right, foily. Somewhat. Oh, this is where my internet doesn't hold up with. Yeah, good. So we're looking for Arcane Rising, because a bunch of cards are missing the italic reminder text, so a little, thing in brackets that tells you what this does. The Crew. First edition, oh no, some of them do have no italic reminders for the rainbow foils. Interesting. How many? We do care about Crew foils as well. 36. God. Bit of everything. I suppose we can read the cards slightly. See if they're meant to. Crew. I feel like the boost cards would probably be a prime suspect. Almost every keyword has italic text, does it not? Ah, Whirling Mist doesn't. That's a slight difference. Push forward. Nope, that's hit and run. High speed impact. Not overblast though. Alright, so we'll hopefully spot the difference when we see it. Right, well, that's the reference. So Foreboding Bolt has opted. Actually, I have a better reference. I pulled out a few of the mech ones because they're nice and easy to see. So for reference, if I can find the page. Alright. So the foil boost cards have it just centered with no text, which kind of looks neat. I'm sure there's some people out there who like the simplicity of it. So that's sort of what we're trying to find. Instead of like that with the Foreboding Bolt, where opt has the text. But at the same time, I'm sure I'm going to overlook a sizable amount of these. It's hard to know, because Go Again to me always feels like one that should. But Go Again probably doesn't. Okay? Defending. Constable Courier. So this is one. But now I don't completely understand the difference, right, between this and normal Crew card. Let me get my Crew folder. Oh, that is a big difference. between the two in terms of text. But it's not as, I'd say, apparent as the soul boost keyword cards from Arcane Rising. But still, when there's like a noticeable difference like this, then, you know, I find there's more rationale to pull out the commons and stuff. But yeah, so that is definitely quite the contrast. Essentially, this is like the prelude to the microtext cards, right? Because that could have been shifted down more easily. So that's the type of stuff we're looking for as we go through the piles, trying to sort them. Combo. Dominate, maybe? Predatory Assault. These ones definitely don't look as nice as the Arcane Rising. What number is it? That would probably make my job a lot easier. The Brute. So it's near the start. Yes, apparently this is 1-2. So I would assume Dominate's meant to have the text. Right? Now I have to check Meet and Greet, because it feels like something here should have text, right? Yep, and I'm correct. Apparently Meet and Greet should have text. Now it feels like we found one before. But we did. We did. Force, torrent. Rolled up, no, yes, Meet and Greet. Foiling definitely looks nice. It's crazy to think too, foiling wise. Like this was still glorious back then, if I can catch the light nicely. But now we're getting, you know, much more specific foiling as well. Even though this shows off, for instance, the armor, the Razor Light beautifully, not just blanketed. It's still getting better and better as we continue with sets, which is, you know, pretty nuts. Alright. Rising Aether, Crush. Go again, Choke Slam. So we're looking for Dominates. I guess Rune Chant is the keyword there that's meant to have text, right? That back, no. Go Again doesn't. Go Again's the only one that's never really been bracketed. It's kind of interesting that it's not everything that's been hit by it. Oh, there we go, Whirling Miss. So, oh, that's actually kind of cool, right? The text for the spec is missing. And this was the first spec we ever got, wasn't it? No, we got stuff in Welcome to Rathe. I'm insane. But still does kind of look cool. Meet and Greet. The arrows without the can be played from Arsenal would be interesting. I'm curious if they printed any. There's Ranger. What numbers? 131. Workshop. Ooh, Sleep Dart. Sleep Dart apparently doesn't have the reminder text. So technically, Sleep Dart can be played now. It's still an arrow. So Sleep Dart would be a nice one to find. But that's just damn it, Arcane Rising now. I believe Arcane Rising was maybe Rainbow Pools and non-Rainbow Pools. Should have more somewhere. Problem is all my piles are just mixed up. Not a bad little haul. And there is some rationale here then to collecting crew cards, crew first aid cards. So it usually doesn't really equate to the other two. There's also some interesting lines on some of the tokens from Arcane Rising. One side always has the full box, interestingly. I should probably... I'm looking for foils, and I assume I've separated them more. But I'm curious. First edition, Pedal to the Metal has misprinted italic reminder text. Pedal to the Metal. You probably... No. Could you Google these? Actually, I'd assume the Fab database probably has them. Oh, find one, Pedal to the Metal. Feels like it was a common or rare. The rare, it might be a bit more separate. But yeah, the boost in the center, I think, is really cool in comparison. Arrow, anything, and the arrow is missing the text. I'd also really like. Loop throttle. Where... Be nice if someone ordered these. That's someone being me. Throttle. I'm also going to look up at my screen at one point, look for the other ones with errorous text, and there's going to be stuff we've just gone through. Pedal to the metal. Actually, kind of looks like it's just pedal to the metal. And then it's all rainbow foils, missing the text. Oh, in fact, all the first specs don't have the text. No worries, man. Glad you enjoyed. Have a good rest. Yeah, so all the specs didn't have text saying they could only be in X hero. Well, at least for the rainbow foils. The normal versions did. But yes, it looks like only Hell to the Metal is wrong. Ooh. Blazing Aether, interestingly, has no flavor text and no spec. Yeah, no spec text. Where's my... Oh, because I am fortunate enough to have a first ed Blazing Aether. Gone on a little rabbit hole. Just looking at interesting cards, I guess. And I guess, in a sense, it is the end of Collector's Week, right? Showing off stuff. Nope. Actually, oh, that's lucky. I have the direct comparison. How have I never noticed this? So, both first ed, right? That was kind of look goofy. Like, if that was in the center, maybe, directly under him, would be kind of cool. But, yeah. Wait, what? The foil has flavor text, but it's missing the italicized text. And then the normal. Interesting. I guess that's a rationale for why it's an expensive rainbow foil. Arcane Rising. But nope. I'm curious if there's any more like that with lore text only on the foil. That feels like a big element. Fork Lightning has a weird comma. It's an italics, interestingly. And so far, the only real one is Pedal to the Metal, which has misprinted text, it says. And Come Fight in Rainbow Foil has flavor text. Interesting. Alright. I think I know what we're looking for, which is basically Pedal to the Metal or foils. Oh, beautiful. There's a Pedal to the Metal. Okay. Where's the misprint? Preventing hero card, defend Pedal to the Metal with more than one card from hand. That's correct. There's additional cost to play Pedal to the Metal. You may banish top card of your deck. If it's a acknowledged card, Pedal to the Metal gains go again. That doesn't seem incorrect. This. First edition has misprinted italic reminder text. And yellow is there. So there is some difference, interestingly. I guess we'll pull them out and see. And then the other one was Come Fight. Also, interestingly, in non-foil. Well, does not like me going through the cards so quickly. Oh, Come Fight. So yeah, so this has flavor text, apparently, when it normally doesn't. Put it aside. You know what? More Pedal the Metals. I'd like at least a color set. No. Nothing else non-foil wise. Nothing else non-foil wise. Pedal the Metal. Probably take out the Null Rune and the Fate Scenes. Probably useful. There's the chunk of equipment. There's Pedal the Metal. Probably go grab a normal one. Oh, beautiful. Color set. For comparison's sake. Nope. Oh, absorb, take cover. Makes me curious where I put the foils. Oh, Pedal the Metal. suppose I'd be able to look and see if any of these are slightly different. Now that we know sort of what we're looking for. Graham the Gallant strode among the trees, tracking a band of notorious thieves. Interesting. Wonder why it was vetoed or removed. Nada, nada, nada. And these were still it. Throttle. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, there's another complaint. I like the unique cards in this sense. Although I suppose there's still plenty of these, circulating. They're still nice to set aside, surely. A lot of complaints. Not so many pedal to the metals. One more at least? I should probably take out. Nah. I feel like the bubbles. Why is... Oh no, the copyright sign. I was thinking that was the common sign. In the center. Looks like there is no more pedal to the metals. Nada, 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 nada. Yep, nope. A few bubbles in there. Still, nice little haul of some amount of cards. I'm very curious. Let me look up pedal to the metal, because I want to know what the difference is. Why it's wrong? Oh. Oh. Wait, what? No, no, I've got this backwards. Unlimited is wrong. Think. Oh, no. God. That is a tiny difference. Well, it's actually not once you understand. The dominate text, right? We'll read it again, and we'll see. Defending hero can't defend pedal to the metal with more than one card from hand. Now, what is the usual dominate text? It usually doesn't refer to the card, interestingly. Usually says can't defend the attack. So, yeah, that's kind of cool, right? Specifically refers to itself in its dominate text. Foils, some fights, pedal metals. That's kind of cool. Minor thing, but still, be kind of nice to pull out a playset. I should have more somewhere. All my piles are just everywhere. And back then, you kind of just put the the unlimited with the first set. All right, what are these? These are Crucible non-foils. So I don't think there's anything. I mean, I'll double check quickly. I think it's all rainbow foils. Well, there's a few cards that differ from their original printing in Welcome to Rathe and Arcane Rising. Non-functional syntax update, so just shortening of words. And then some cards that are missing. Also didn't realize that the original Ira deck came with a legendary border, edge of border. So part of me kind of wants to track down another one of them. So I do have one, I just don't want to crack it. Non-foils. You know what? Betcha. Knowing me, the foils aren't even here. I would have put the foils aside so that they don't curdle. I just quickly thumb through this pile. I think I see more Arcane Rising. Yeah, there we go. So I can still pull out Pedal the Metals. I can dream of finding my playset, at the very least. Although that's Welcome to Rathe. I don't think Welcome to Rathe had anything changed. It was just the pink strips. Pink strip, pink strip. The Unlimited has speech marks. Yeah. Unlimited, unlimited. Yeah, it's basically just the pink strips. It's the only thing on the Welcome to Rathe. And I've pulled out all the pink strips. And then Unlimited has some syntax updates. So the Iron Rot we don't care about, but then it's actually into Arcane Rising. Never mind. This is, and I'm just putting them back on top of each other, so this is how they remain disorganized. So come fights, cover the medals. Should be nice and easy. I'm gonna kick myself if there's one more or so that I did not check. But I believe for the non-foils, it's just these two. So we have some come fights with nice little flavor text. Cover the medals that are self-identifying. And it does look like I will definitely have a playset of them, which is cool. Although I don't think either of them really get played. Pedal of the Metal. No, I don't think Pedal of the Metal sees play. Right? Nada. Oh, throttle. I'm mainly just looking for the borders. There's the Pedal of the Metal. What is it? It is a 2-cost boost for 5 with Dominate. Pedal Metal hits next attack this turn gains Dominate. I mean, that's actually not horrendous, right? With some of the cog effects, that's kind of cool. Probably not enough, though, still, to get it. Probably, I could look at it. No, I think a lot of the first edition stuff is still sort of undervalued, or undersold, or underthought. Like, I have first edition stuff, but even I didn't clue in that, there's these differences. And it's nice that they're up on the Fab website. But I don't think anyone, there's not many people who go too in depth looking for these. Nada. Come on. Oh, there we go. I mean, they're both... No, Pedal to the Metal is a rare as well, actually. It is actually kind of cool. I think Gunfight's definitely a common. Yep, it is a common. So yeah, so to have a playset of Pedal to the Metals would definitely be really nice. I see this Steelblade Shunt, so this pack, or this stack, does end in Welcome to Rathe. And I have to track down the foils. Nebula Blade. We're in Welcome to Rathe now. Alright. Fingers crossed. I feel like we're going to be 1 or 2 off of a playset. Yeah. In hope. Don't need the crew cards. I did go through this pile. Yeah, it's all crew. Alright, did we find a playset of either of them? Gunfight blue, yellow, blue, yellow, red. Alright, so there's yellow playsets. That's something. The reds. I think we'll have the come fight. Right, there's a blue set of Pedal to the Metal. There's a set. Oh, I'm gonna be 1 yellow off. Sets. I am 1 yellow off of both. Unfortunately, that's. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Playset of the come fights, but they're to me not as interesting as the other Pedal to the Metals. And then missing 1 yellow Pedal to the Metal. Although I suppose red's probably what you're taking anyway. So the self-aware red Pedal to the Metals is definitely nice. But it would have been cool to have a full set. I probably have some other cards somewhere. I have to dig through and find them. But if I was me, where would I put the foils? If I was me, I would have put them with my piques. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Beautiful. Nice pink pummel on top. And a whole bunch of extra M's. Any more? Alright, we'll do this batch, and then that'll probably do that, right? We found some interesting stuff. You can see a nice pink pummel Oh, I'm gonna knock these piles of cards. God. A little bit of reorganizing. My desk just gets more and more cluttered. Alright. Pummel, pummel, sink, sink. Nice. Playset-ish. Yeah. There's a single copy in my actual folder for pinks. So, nice little playset. I should probably sleeve them. Right? They're probably the important ones out of all these. Excess. Interesting. Shiny pinks. I don't think there's anything stand out. They are nice. Alright. Anything that's meant to have text. Unfortunately, Wizard don't, right? I feel like none of their cards are going to. What numbers are we at? 140, they're at the back. First edition. Oh, that's the equipment. Aether Spindle, because it ops. And Fork Lightning. That's it for Wizard. So we can organize these at the very least. That's probably the best place to start. Blade. Generic. Ranger. Blade. Generic. So some of the arrows, although it's not all the arrows, because that would kind of be cool. Be a little bit of a rationale for me to take. Oh god, no, that's fucking right. No, good. Are we out? Are we out already? We are. None of these have super importance. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, the pink shinies can join them. Alright. So, Max probably easiest. I think I've already cleaned them out, though. Locked and Loaded surely would have had text, right? Again, not as clean, though, since it's, not in the center. Yeah, so Locked and Loaded is missing the opt and the boost text, I'd assume. Or at least one of them. Dispersion Shield. I feel like this wouldn't have any, right? Dispersion Shield. And God, what number is it? 35. 35. Yeah, no. Dispersion Shield does not. Alright, Ranger. So this should be nice and obvious. It's arrows that are missing the arrow text, which fortunately looks like none of the ones that I have. Guess it was Sleep Dart. There's only one in Wizard, the one that ops. Also a Noop. Runeblade, I think if it creates Rune Chance, plus one less, and that has the text. Yeah, so nada. That's just the Locked and Load, it looks like. Action points, opt, but has the text. Fate the Scene without the text would have been glorious. Nope. 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 And nope. Ah. Locked and Loaded. We found one thing at least, but yeah. Pretty cool, right? The slight difference. Including the cards. But the boost is definitely the most striking. Except for that. When it's just boost because it's centered. There we go. Put them away, which is nice. And then I can try and dig out all the other stuff wherever it is. But we'll leave it there. Anyone hanging around or watching post, thanks as always. Otherwise, see you next time. That was weird. My camera disconnected for a second. I suppose we can go back to the screen. Yeah. Oh, God. I play this on... People do outros, don't they? Right? Playing this is the correct thing. Right? Nice little bereavement. Tell you it's over. Anyway, I'm out at least. See ya.